Give them a huge round of applause as we welcome our dignitaries into today's entrepreneurship session.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with immense pride and joy that we prepare to welcome our distinguished guests to the Swami Vivekanand Sabha Mandap. Their arrival signifies the start of an extraordinary event.
We welcome Ms. C.A. Rachna Ranade, founder of Rachna Ranade and Associates, Dr. Dipendra Sharma, Dean, School of Business, MIT World Peace University,
Dr. Ishwar Krishna Iyer, Dean, ROSL, MIT World Peace University,
Professor Sridhar Pabishetty, Senior Director of School of Government, MIT World Peace University,
Dr. Anjali Sane, Dean of Economics and Commerce, MIT World Peace University,
Dr. Swati Bankar, Associate Dean, External Relations, SOB, MIT World Peace University,
Dr. Dhanashri Tarkude, Associate Dean, External Relations, ROSL, MIT World Peace University,
Dr. Rajshri Kradam, Associate Dean, Academic School of Business, SOB, MIT World Peace University,
Dr. Ramkrishna Mantekar, Dr. Ramkrishna Mantekar, Associate Dean, Academics, RSOL, MIT World Peace University, Dr. T.J. Vidyasagar, Associate Dean, Faculty Affairs, SOB, MIT World Peace University.
In the spirit of enlightenment, I humbly invite our esteemed dignitaries for the lamp lighting. Can we have a huge round of applause as we see the lamp is being illuminated?
May this light inspire us to forge new paths, ignite innovation, and illuminate the future with the brilliance of our collective efforts. This sacred flame symbolizes the triumph of knowledge over ignorance.
I request our honorable dignitaries to kindly proceed towards the bell in front of the stage for the bell ringing ceremony. Can we have a round of applause as the bell is ringing?
I kindly request all the dignitaries to kindly join us on the dais. Let's keep the round of applause going, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, as we welcome these trailblazers who have made significant contribution to the entrepreneurial landscape. Their presence here today is a testament to their dedication and their impact. Can we please have a round of applause for all our dignitaries present here today?
Thank you, everyone. With our distinguished guests are now with us, we are ready to embark on the day 4 of R.I.D.E 2024, where we celebrate the spirit of entrepreneurship.
Ladies and gentlemen, we wish you all a very good morning and extend to you a very warm welcome, along with my deepest gratitude to each one of you for gracing us with your presence today. I'm Oshan Nijampurkar.
And I am Diya Fotedar, your hosts for today. We are honored to have you all here today as we embark on this remarkable journey of knowledge, innovation, and progress.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered what it feels like to stand on the edge of a revolution, to be at the very heart of a moment where future is no longer a distant dream, but a tangible reality in waiting?
Think of today as the start of an epic adventure, a quest, if you will, where every idea is a clue. Every innovation is a piece of puzzle, and every one of you, the daring explorers, ready to uncover the treasures hidden in the realm of possibility.
Now imagine a place where what if becomes a why not, where the only limit is the reach of your imagination. That place is here. That time is now. Welcome to the crossroads of creativity and ambition, where dreams don't just take flight, they soar.
Sure, you could be anywhere right now, scrolling through your feeds, binge watching your favorite shows, or even mastering the art of making the perfect cup of coffee. But you chose to be here. And trust me, you've made the right call. Because today, you are not just attending an event, you're about to dive headfirst into a tidal wave of R.I.D.E.
Here in this very room, ideas will collide, merge, and evolve. This is where we blur the lines between what is and what could be. It is a place where the status quo gets a little nervous, where the comfort zones become launch pads, and where the sparks of today become the game changers of tomorrow.
Welcome to R.I.D.E 2024, Research, Innovation, Design, and Entrepreneurship Summit.
Before we proceed with today's session, as it is cherished tradition of MIT World Peace University, may I kindly request everyone to stand up, join your hands, and close your eyes for the World Peace Prayer, which will be followed by the national song.
प्रतिपाद्या जय जय स्वसंवेद्या आत्मरूपा देवातूति गणेषु सकलार्थमतिप्रकाशु म्हणे निवृत्तिदासु अवधारि बोधि गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Thank you, everyone, for joining us in the World Peace Prayer. Kindly be standing as I request the technical team to kindly play the national song.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam, Sufalam, Malayaj Sheetalam, Shasya Shamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram, Shubhra-jyosna pulakitayamini, Pullakusumita drumadala shobhini, Suhasini, Sumadhura bhashini, Sukhadam varadam mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram.
Thank you, everyone. You may kindly take your seats now.
Let me take you on a quick journey back in time. No, not to the dinosaurs, but to a garage in California in the 1970s. Imagine a couple of college dropouts tinkering away with wires and circuits, fueled not by money or fame, but by simple belief that they could change the world.
No, they weren't fixing a time machine or a building or a robot army. Though, who knows, maybe that was on their to-do list. They were working on something that seemed almost impossible, something that people said they would never will be able to do.
Yet, against all odds, they turned that humble garage into the birthplace of a revolution. Fast forward a few decades, and their company, ever heard of it? Apple, became one of the most iconic brands in history. What started as a crazy idea became a global phenomenon, all because of a people who dared to dream big.
Now, I know what you're thinking. That's great for them. But what about me? Well, here's the thing. Every single one of us has generated a garage of our own. Maybe it's not filled with wires and circuits or boards. Maybe it's filled with ideas, questions, and what-ifs. And today, right here at R.I.D.E 2024, we are unlocking those garages. We are opening the doors to responsibilities, breaking down the barriers that they say you can't, and shouting back, oh yes, we can.
And that, my friends, is what entrepreneurship is all about. It's a force that changes ideas into action, dreams into reality, and what-ifs into world-changing solutions. Welcome to R.I.D.E 2024, where entrepreneurship isn't just an option, it's the very heartbeat of this summit.
On that note, I request the technical team to kindly play the theme video of R.I.D.E 2024.
Entrepreneurship is not just a word. It's a destination. Perhaps it's a lifelong process. What exactly does it take to become an inspiring entrepreneur? Here is the solution to your query. The Innovation Hub at MIT World Peace University presents for the first time ever R.I.D.E, all-inclusive conclave through which we aim to sow the seeds of research, innovation, design and entrepreneurship in the minds of our students. Learn to sustain and learn to thrive in a world full of ideas. At MIT World Peace University, we intend to nurture an entrepreneurial mindset amongst the youth who do not just know how to ideate, but to lead and run a business. Alongside raising job seekers, we also believe in increasing job creators to build an ecosystem full of entrepreneurial mindsets. We believe that any individual with a willingness to learn has a potential to rise up beyond the benchmarks that have been set. In order to bring this vision into reality, we bring to you R.I.D.E with numerous speaker sessions where we intend to bring in prominent speakers from the industry who have built themselves up from scratch. A startup expo, which is a culmination of 100+ startups who have thrived in this dynamic business world. To add a cherry on top, we bring in a surprise element for our students with a range of recreational activities. Let's unite together to shape an innovative and independent future. 10,000+ students, 30+ schools, 4 divisions, 1 university. Let's create our future the way we always dreamt of.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to welcome a distinguished academic and researcher, Dr. Anjali Sane, to our platform. With a wealth of experience in the fields of economics and banking, Dr. Sane has made significant contributions to both academia and industry.
As the Dean of the School of Economics and Commerce, MIT World Peace University, Dr. Sane has been instrumental in shaping the future of young minds. Her passion for education and her commitment for excellence have earned her a widespread respect.
May I request ma'am to kindly present the concept note for today's session.
Thank you. Good morning. On behalf of revered Founder President Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir, Executive President Rahul Karad sir, Executive Director Dr. Aditi Karad ma'am, on behalf of our respected Vice Chancellor Dr. R.M. Chitnis sir, and on behalf of the entire team of R.I.D.E 2024, I consider it my proud privilege to propose the welcome address for Day 4 of Research, Innovation, Design and Entrepreneurship, which is based on the theme of entrepreneurship. It is our proud privilege to welcome with us today CA Rachana Ranade. Rachana Ranade ma'am is a chartered accountant and a popular financial educator. She is known for simplifying complex financial concepts, especially in the realm of the stock market. She has a significant following on YouTube where she shares insights, tutorials, and analysis on various financial topics. Her ability to break down intricate financial information into easily understandable terms has made her a go-to resource for many people looking to learn about investing and personal finance. We will shortly be joined by our two other experts, Ms. Bhavana Bhatnagar, who is the co-founder of V Founder Circle, and Melvin Rufus, business head for Pune, Ahmedabad, and Nagpur at Swiggy. Ma'am, for you, a few lines. काम करो ऐसा कि एक पहचान बन जाए, हर कदम ऐसा चलो कि निशान बन जाए, यहाँ जिंदगी तो हर कोई काट लेता है, जिंदगी जियो इस कदर कि मिसाल बन जाए. I'm sure these words aptly describe our keynote speaker for today's session. With a huge fan following on social media, Rachana's journey from a humble teacher to a finance influencer and entrepreneur is an inspiration for all young minds. And I'm sure, dear students, that all of you will immensely benefit from her words of wisdom. कुछ पंक्तियां मैडम फिर से आपके लिए. जिंदगी बहुत हसीन है. This is for you also, dear students. जिंदगी बहुत हसीन है, कभी हंसाती है तो कभी रुलाती है, लेकिन जो जिंदगी की भीड़ में खुश रहता है, जिंदगी उसी के आगे सर झुकाती है. बिना संघर्ष कोई महान नहीं होता, बिना कुछ किए जय जयकार नहीं होता, जब तक नहीं पड़ती हथौड़े की चोट तब तक कोई पत्थर भगवान नहीं होता. I am sure that all of you are going to immensely benefit from the words of wisdom that will be shared by all our keynote speakers today. Once again, on behalf of the entire team at R.I.D.E, I warmly welcome all the dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, all the dear students who are listening in the online mode, as well as all the students present here in the Pendol today. A warm welcome to one and all. Thank you for joining us today early in the morning. Once again, welcome, welcome one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. Can we have a huge round of applause for ma'am? Ladies and gentlemen, we gather here for a momentous occasion, one that is filled with pride and admiration as we come together to felicitate these remarkable individuals sitting amongst us.
I request Dr. Anjali Sane ma'am to kindly come forward and felicitate Mrs. C.A. Rachana Ranade, founder of Rachana Ranade and Associates.
With over 2 decades of experience, C.A. Ranade has revolutionized financial education through her engaging insights. She has received notable awards including the Mata Saman Youth Icon 2023 from Maharashtra's Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister. Also the Women's Achievers Award 2024. Her YouTube channel is boasting a massive 5 million subscribers. This showcases her dedication to financial literacy.
Can we have a round of applause for ma'am, everyone? Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to welcome to the stage a truly remarkable individual whose contributions to the field of finance and beyond have set new standards amongst all of us.
C.A. Rachana Ranade. is a renowned financial expert and educator celebrated for her exceptional skills in demystifying complex finance concepts and empowering individuals to her insightful guidance. With a distinguished career spanning over 2 decades, she has earned accolades for her dedication to financial literacy and education.
Her impactful work has several prestigious awards, including the esteemed Mata Sanman Youth Icon 2023 Award, presented by the Honorable Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. This recognition highlights her significant influence and leadership in the field. Additionally, C.A. Ranade was honored with the Women's Achiever Award 2024, a testament to her outstanding contributions and success.
Furthermore, her remarkable presence on YouTube, where she has amassed an impressive 5 million subscribers, underscores her ability to connect with and educate a vast audience through her engaging and informative content.
We are deeply privileged to have C.A. Rachna Ranade ma'am with us today. Her achievements and ongoing commitment to advancing financial literacy continue to inspire and uplift countless individuals here.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a warm and heartfelt welcome to C.A. Rachna Ranade ma'am. Can we have a round of applause?
I request the technical team to kindly play the intro video for ma'am.
As a distinguished chartered accountant and financial educator, C.A. Rachna Ranade has made significant strides in simplifying complex financial concepts for a broad audience. With a robust background in financial markets, taxation, and auditing, Rachna has dedicated herself to making financial literacy accessible and engaging. Her widely acclaimed YouTube channel and online courses have provided invaluable insights into stock market investing, personal finance management, and more, empowering individuals across India to take charge of their financial futures. C.A. Rachna Ranade's passion for financial education and her approachable teaching style have earned her a well-deserved reputation as a trusted advisor and influencer in the financial world. We are excited to hear from her today and gain from her wealth of knowledge. We warmly welcome C.A. Rachna Ranade.
Can we have a huge round of applause for ma'am?
त्याच्याऐवजी मग मी पुढे येते नकोय पुढे नकोय पण ठीक आहे हे एक राहिलं तरी चालेल एक थोडं रेफरन्सला बस 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 गुड इनफ गुड इनफ येस गुड मॉर्निंग डिअर स्टुडंट्स झोपले का काय सगळे गुड मॉर्निंग अजूनही झोपलेत गुड मॉर्निंग आर यू ऑल अवेक येस कॅन आय हिअर अ बिग गुड मॉर्निंग थँक यू फॉर दॅट ऑल राईट एम आय क्लिअरली ऑडिबल आय एम नॉट शुअर आय एम गेटिंग सम echo here. If you can give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, am I audible? Yes? Gen Zs understand thumbs up, thumbs down rather than yes, no, I guess. So, just to give a short and sweet, quick introduction, one more time from my side. I started my content creation journey back in 2019, just 1 year before COVID. And this August 15th, 2024, I completed 5 million subscribers on my YouTube channel, YouTube English channel. I had started my Marathi YouTube channel just 2 years ago, and in less than 2 years, I was able to hit the 1 million landmark in a regional language, which is the Marathi language. I started my Instagram journey few years back, and I have 1.1 million followers on Instagram as well, and a LinkedIn following of roughly 750,000 followers. But even though these numbers seem to be very big enough, did they happen overnight? Answer was obviously no. There was a lot of effort which was involved while I progressed from 0 subscribers, I should say, to a scale of 5 million subscribers. Before I talk about my journey of being a chartered accountant to a teacher to an entrepreneur, I would just want to have a quick check from you all. How many of you want to be entrepreneurs? If I may get by a raise of hands, how many of you want to be entrepreneurs? If you can raise your hands. That's it. If you can raise it clearly one more time, please. How many of you want to become entrepreneurs? All right. Kya baat hai? This is almost 20-25% of the crowd. So I can see a lot of people who are here to create employment rather than be in the stream of employment for someone else. So when I started back in 2008 after becoming a chartered accountant, there's also a very interesting journey of how I became a chartered accountant as well. We'll just quickly tell in 2 to 3 lines. I wanted to become a singer actually, and I chose commerce so that I could pursue my singing. But then, my boyfriend had decided that he is going to be a chartered accountant. He wants to pursue chartered accountancy course. And so just that I could meet him, I took the admission for chartered accountancy course. But with a lot of efforts after that, not efforts in the relationship, efforts in my studies, I was able to crack the chartered accountancy examination in the very first attempt. And, thank you. And my then boyfriend eventually became my husband. So he's my life partner and now my business partner as well. When we used to meet during our college days, we started our relationship when we were in 11th standard. So from 11th standard to 3rd year, we could see a lot of other couples who were dynamic. You understand by the word dynamic? Constantly changing couples. But in our entire batch, there were only 4 constant couples, and we were amongst those. Today, he is also a chartered accountant. I am also a chartered accountant. We both have our firm, which is by my name, R.I.D.E and Associates. He is very happy to support me in my dream of educating masses in the field of finance. I very proudly tell this to everyone that in our society it is very common that a girl leaves her job to support her husband in his entrepreneurial journey. But for us it was the other way around. He was working with a German MNC. He was reporting directly to the CFO of the German company, but he left his job and he supported me in my entrepreneurial journey. And together we try and achieve our dream of educating India in the field of finance. Do you think that a lot of people might have raised questions about he quitting his job? What do you feel, a yes or a no? Yes? In our society, I'm sure a lot of eyebrows might have been raised. Are you sure you want to do that or not? And the amazing answer which my husband gave to one of our family friends was that rather being a CFO of someone else's company, I would want to become the owner of my own company. So it's about that feeling that it is our company rather than she started it and I am joining her. It should be a joint effort, and that is what he truly believed in. So when again, I'm just taking you all back to our memory lane a little bit, because many people have this question that, Rachna, how did you start your journey of stock markets? By the way, amongst you all, how many of you are already active in the stock market, either as a trader or as an investor? If you can raise your hands. As a trader or an investor, if you can raise your hands. Oh God, as expected. Number one is that the number is very less. And number two, 90% of those who have raised their hands are males. Good that you're doing it. I'm unhappy for the females. Girls, jago grahak jago. What are you doing? The earlier you start, the more benefit are you going to get. So many people ask me that, being a girl, how did you find interest in the world of stock market and finance? And I give complete, I can say 100% benefit of this, benefit of doubt or whatever you can call, to two men in my life. One is my real brother, who is also a chartered accountant, and my husband, who is also a chartered accountant. So whenever we used to meet, when we were back in college, when we used to meet, he never asked me ki chai piya kya, khana khaya kya. He always used to ask, market dekha kya. So we always used to have a lot of conversation around stock market as a subject. And believe it or not, I started investing in the market since 2006 when I was in CA final. So I'm invested in the market for more than 18 years now. I have seen the biggest crash on screen in front of me. Does anyone know which was the biggest crash in stock market post 2006? Which year was that? Sorry? Shout out. 2008. Someone said it right from there. And that was the Lehman Brothers crisis. Correct? US subprime crisis is what people say as well. Those who are post-COVID investors, they feel afraid when market goes down by 2%, 3%. They are like, "Arey, aaj market 3% se niche gaya, 2% se niche gaya, ab kya hoga?" Do you know that during the Lehman Brothers crisis, markets had crashed by almost 35 to 40% in a month. And that is what we truly call by a market crash. So I've learned a lot from there. I started investing when I was in CA final. I carried that passion of investing since then. I became a chartered accountant in 2008, and after that, after becoming a chartered accountant, I had two options. One, to go in MNCs or join some CA firm, or pursue my dream career, which was becoming a teacher. Everyone used to laugh at me when I said I want to become a teacher. Everyone used to say, "You pagal hai kya? You've cleared CA in the first attempt and you want to become a teacher?" Because at that time also, all my colleagues who had joined MNCs, they had gotten a package. I'm talking about 2008. They had gotten a package of almost 6 lakh rupees per year. 2008 I'm talking about. And here was I with a package of 2.5 lakh rupees per year, teaching in a college for PGDM and MBA finance students. Everyone used to laugh at me that you are taking such a foolish career decision at the beginning of your career. Today, Dash laughs at Dash. You understand? So now what happened is that, now when they see what has happened over a period of time, and it did not happen just like overnight. I started my journey, teaching journey in 2009. And from 2009 to 2019, 10 years, 10 straight years, I taught CA students, MBA finance students, PGDM students, and you name the subject and I've taught it. Only one semester, I taught undergraduate students. and that was for BBA students. And can you guess in which college? In MIT. That was just 1 year where I taught in MIT in one semester. That was just like a stopgap arrangement that I had done for one of the faculty members. Anjali ma'am had told me to come for the sessions for BBA, and I had come there for a semester. What used to happen when I used to teach? I remember that a lot of other faculties used to complain that students bunk the classes. And I always had a complaint to my director that there are less number of benches in the classroom. And I used to wonder that how come there are so many students in finance? One fine day, I did a surprise check and I found out that HR students are also attending my lecture. Marketing students are also attending my lecture. I said, why are you attending a finance lecture? At that time, I understood, I got their feedback that, ma'am, you teach us about stock market in the first 15 minutes of the session, which was not a part of the syllabus, but I used to teach them 10 to 15 minutes about stock market, and then I used to start the core subject. That is what they loved a lot, and that is why they used to come and sit in my classroom. So that was a time when I understood that this is an area which interests a lot of people. See, I am telling this background because if you were to understand my entrepreneurial journey, I think this is the foundation stone of my entrepreneurial journey. So I started delivering content around basics of stock market, around fundamentals, how to analyze stocks, how to analyze them fundamentally, how to analyze them technically. And then in 2000, somewhere around 13-14, I became a resource person of SEBI. I hope everyone knows what is SEBI. Yes? It's Securities Exchange Board of India. It is the regulator of stock markets. And I was one of the resource persons of SEBI. It means that on behalf of SEBI, I have given a lot of seminars. And you know to whom? To students, to homemakers, to retired people, to middle level management, to top level management. Few seminars were very close to my heart. I have given sessions to CID, Pune. I have given sessions to Southern Command. So a lot of seminars which gave me a lot of insights around financial awareness. I found out one common thing which was missing everywhere. And that missing point was about financial awareness or financial literacy. So whenever you want to start your entrepreneurial journey, you have to identify a problem is what I feel is step number 1. Okay, you should identify a gap, you should identify a problem. Once you identify that, that is step number 1. Second thing you have to check whether do you have a solution for that or not. Correct? What was the solution? I should have been in a position to teach masses around how to educate themselves in the field of financial education. And I should have an expertise in that. And the third thing, you should have maddening passion about what you are doing. If you can do that, you can work, you can slog like anything and still be energetic till 10 p.m. as well. So 2018, I realized that, okay, it's time. I'm almost doing the same thing for 10 years. I should try and shift gears from only teaching CA, from only teaching MBA. I should try and do something different. But you know what my biggest problem was? I was practically learning about stock market, but I did not know whether theoretically it is the same or not. So my journey was ulta, from practical to theoretical. And that was when I came across something known as NISM exams. How many of you have heard about NISM exams? If I can get a raise of hands. NISM exams? Okay, very few students know about it. These are exams again conducted by SEBI. SEBI's educational initiative, which is NISM. And my examination center, so again one more trivia, my examination center for that NISM exam was MIT College. And that happened, I think, in 2018. So many students were talking amongst themselves, iska answer kya hai, uska answer kya hai. मैं सबको आंसर मतलब not during the exam, before the exam I was telling कि इसका आंसर ये होना चाहिए, इसका आंसर ये होना चाहिए. So at one point in time everyone started asking me, आप एग्जाम के लिए appear क्यों कर रहे हो? मेरे को just check करना है कि theoretically बराबर है कि नहीं है सब. And after that, I took a dummy batch for basics of stock market. I had curated the course by myself. It was a 16 hours course that I designed for basics of stock market. I caught hold of some 6 to 8 CA students and I told, you are my guinea pigs. I'm going to teach you and you have to give me feedback every single day whether you are able to understand whatever I teach or not. And you know, again, sometimes you feel like this is insane. That dummy batch that I had taken back in 2018, only 6 to 8 students in that batch. And one of the students in that batch is right now one of my team members. He joined my team after becoming a chartered accountant. So life sometimes comes to a full circle, and that is one more classic example of that. So I started basics of stock market, but the enrollments in that course were not that great. The number that I had expected versus the enrollments, it was not in tune. So what I did was that I uploaded the first session of that session, Basics of Stock Market lecture number 1. I uploaded that on YouTube. How many of you have seen that Basics of Stock Market lecture 1 on YouTube? Anyone? If you can raise your hands clearly, my Basics of Stock Market lecture 1 on YouTube. Kya baat hai? But still this is very less. I think I have a lot more potential subscribers in the audiences right now. That lecture that I had uploaded, today that lecture has 28 million views on YouTube. And I can happily tell you that YouTube has made a case study on that lecture. That how can a 90 minutes video, 90, it's a one and a half hour lecture on YouTube. How can a 90 minutes video go viral on YouTube? But things don't happen just because they were to happen or just by fluke. You have to strategize on some things. I'll tell you how I strategized so that that lecture could go viral. At that time, I used to teach across 7 to 8 different colleges in Pune. And I had an exposure of almost 7,000 to 8,000 students. So for the internal vivas, I told them that this time your portion for internal vivas is going to be that one lecture which is uploaded on YouTube. So you have to go and watch that, revise it thoroughly. So you can imagine 8,000 students, everyone revising it at least twice. I could get at least 16,000 assured views. Once the views started to kick in, YouTube started recommending the videos to others. You might have seen a lot of YouTubers saying this, that please smash the like button. Have you heard YouTubers say that? Yes? But why do they say this? There's a reason behind it, that whenever a video gets more likes, the YouTube algorithm understands that there is something nice in this video and it recommends that video to others. That is how my video started getting recommended. And my sales, or I can say enrollments for Basics of Stock Market course skyrocketed like anything. And that was when I understood the power of YouTube. How can I distribute my existing courses through YouTube? I understood the power of distribution, but the problem that I had identified, one more problem, was upselling. Do you understand what is upselling? You have an existing customer base, but you want to generate more revenue from that customer by selling a higher ticket size product. But I didn't have a product for that. And that is when I sat down that what is my expertise. Being a chartered accountant, I said I should draft a separate course on fundamental analysis. I drafted one more course, I shot that, I released that. And then I started to realize the power of upselling. That was my second course as an entrepreneur as well. Then I moved on to technical analysis. Then I moved on to various other courses, including magic of mutual funds, mastering money management, so many courses, almost 7 to 8 courses that I've designed till date. Now, as an entrepreneur, many a times it does happen that after a certain time, you feel that, what next? And many people start telling you that, okay, now you should think about selling financial services, or start up thinking, you can think about selling insurance, you can think about selling mutual funds. But I feel that as an entrepreneur, I learned that if you stay true to your core, you can definitely, make the most out of it. So after giving all my courses in English, I switched to Marathi. So I recorded 5 different courses in Marathi. And after that, to pursue my dream of localization, true spirit of localization, I dubbed my courses in 3 languages, Tamil, Telugu and Kannada. So right now I can proudly tell you that all my courses, a majority of my courses are available in 5 different languages, English, Marathi, Tamil, Telugu and Kannada. One major language is yet to come, which is Hindi. Will happen in the course of time. So my dream of being a national level content creator and entrepreneur was getting ticked off. My dream of going truly local was getting ticked off. But that zeal of going abroad was still missing. I was not able to crack the code. I was not able to understand how can I prove myself beyond India. I got to know that there is something known as a NAS Summit. How many of you know, how many of you have heard about NAS Summit? NAS Daily channel, suna hai apne NAS Daily? Yes? Okay, very few. He's a very famous content creator from Dubai. His channel is NAS Daily and he boasts around 20 million or 25 million subscribers in total on all his channels together. So when I had gone to Dubai, I attended the summit as an attendee. I was not a speaker, and this happened just like 3 or 4 years ago. And I had to talk to him. I wanted to tell him that, I have 7 courses on my platform, because he was also thinking about starting a platform through which courses can be delivered to the audiences. This is a very interesting discussion that I'm going to tell you right now. This is called as an elevator pitch. Many of you might not know the concept of elevator pitch, but I'm going to tell you how I used this to go on a global level as well. So it was a 3-day event. First day, I approached the founder of NAS Daily. His name is Nusair. I went to Nusair. It was a big crowd, almost 600 people in the auditorium. I told him, Nusair, I just want 1 minute of yours. I want to tell you something. He said, not right now. The session is going on, maybe between the sessions. Now, between the sessions, when I used to go out and try to have a word with him, many people came to me to ask selfies, and I was not able to reach to him. Day 1 was waste. Day 2, again I went to him. I said, Nusair, I just want 2 minutes of yours. I want to tell you something really important. He said, not right now, the session is going on. Day 2, wasted. It was the last day of my Dubai summit. I said, agar aaj nahi kuch ho pata hai, to ye Dubai trip waste. This is where I used an elevator pitch, where you barely have 20 to 30 seconds to tell your message to the relevant authority and get a yes from that authority. And why is it called as an elevator pitch? You can imagine that you go into an elevator, let us say at ground 0, and if you want to get out of that elevator at ground 10, at level 10, you just have those 10 floors to convince that person. That's it. That's why it's called as an elevator pitch. Okay. Last day, I went to Nusair. I did not ask whether you have 1 minute or you have 2 minutes or what. I just directly went to him. I said, Nusair, I have a platform which is called as rachnaranade.com. It has 7 courses and I have 200,000 learners who are there on my website. Do you think that we can collaborate? And he said, how many learners? I said, 200,000. He said, come out, let's discuss. That same day, we discussed about how we can collaborate. And ultimately, today, if you know, he runs a platform called as nas.io, and I have my own community on his platform, which is called as Invest in India. where people from more than 20 countries are a part of that community, which is called as Invest in India. I think I'm running short on time, but just last 3 takeaways which I would want to tell you, which you all can remember if you are going to be a first-gen entrepreneur like me, because my parents were employees, my grandparents were employees, none of them was an entrepreneur. I am the first generation entrepreneur. Today I have a team of almost 18 people. So when I learned in this entire journey of entrepreneurship, I can definitely tell you there are 3 E's that you should stick to. First E is about your employees. You should try and find out good team members. Your employees should be your biggest strength, but your employees should not be your weakness. Because I'm telling you a contrarian view right now. There will be cases where that employee tries to become a powerhouse and overpower you. I have seen these cases very closely. So you have to make them understand that you are my biggest strength, but I am the boss. You have to understand that thin line of differentiation. Number 2, E, is about ethics. I think ethics are on top. You can decide any ground rules for yourself, but if you have those 4 corners around ethics, you will never compromise and you will never take wrong decisions. Just a quick example. I do a lot of brand partnerships. I've done a lot of reels for ICICI Bank, Amazon. I mean, you name the brand and I've done at least some collab with them. Bigger brands I'm talking about. I had gotten one advertisement related brand. You may easily guess it. I'm not going to name them. It's a betting app, sports betting app. And they said, amount आप बोलेंगे वो, लेकिन आपको ये ऐड करना होगा. मैंने कहा नहीं करूँगी. Betting है तो नहीं करूँगी. So here you have to take decisions based on your ethics. And they will help you to grow to your journey. Last E नहीं बताऊँगी. Because some things, if they are untold, they keep on make you think, what could that third E have been? I'm a teacher. I'm going to give you a homework. You have to think through that if you are an entrepreneur, what could be one more very important E that you should imbibe within yourself to become a successful entrepreneur. And I'm sure you'll be able to crack it. So just जाते-जाते एक attitude जो आपने रखना है वो बता के जाती हूँ कि औरों से अलग हूँ, कुछ अलग करके दिखाऊंगी. औरों से अलग हूँ, कुछ अलग करके दिखाऊंगी. उतारो मुझे जिस क्षेत्र में सर्वश्रेष्ठ बन के दिखाऊंगी. So have that killing attitude. Thanks a lot for patient listening. Thank you and have a great day. Thanks a lot.
Can we have a huge round of applause for CA Rachna Ranade for sharing her thoughts and energizing this room with her presence. Never has finance seemed this interesting.
I request the technical team to kindly play another video for ma'am. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another guest with us, Mr. Melvin Ruffus, Business Head for Pune, Ahmedabad and Nagpur for Swiggy. He spearheaded strategic operations and growth initiatives in these key markets, ensuring Swiggy's continued excellence and market expansion.
With a strong background in strategic operations and market growth, Melvin plays a pivotal role in steering Swiggy's success in these key regions.
I would kindly request Dr. Ishwar Krishna Iyer, sir, Dean of RSOL, to kindly come further for Sir's felicitation.
Can we have a round of applause for Sir? Ladies and gentlemen, we have another eminent personality with us here today. With a huge round of applause, let's invite onto stage Ms. Bhavna Bhatnagar, co-founder of V Founder Circle, EvolveX, and Avinaya VC.
Can we have a round of applause for ma'am, everyone? I request Dr. Dipendra Sharma Sir, Dean of School of Business, to kindly come forward for ma'am's felicitation.
Can we have a huge round of applause, everybody? We are delighted to welcome Ms. Bhavna Bhatnagar, co-founder of V Founder Circle, EvolveX, and Avinaya VC. With over 8 years in product development, operations, and strategy, she has significantly impacted the internet technology sector, including AI, short video streaming, and social media.
Can we have a round of applause, everyone, for ma'am? Thank you, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to welcome to you all this special session. Today, we have the privilege of introducing a dynamic leader who has played a crucial role in shaping the success of one of India's leading food delivery platforms, Swiggy.
Our keynote speaker for today is none other than Mr. Melvin Rufus, the business head for Pune, Ahmedabad, and Nagpur at Swiggy. In his role, Melvin oversees the strategic operations and growth initiatives across these key markets, ensuring that Swiggy continues to set new benchmarks in excellence and market expansion.
Melvin Sir's leadership has been instrumental in navigating Swiggy through the ever-evolving landscape of food delivery industry. His ability to blend creativity with business strategy has not only driven innovation, but also enabled Swiggy to maintain a competitive edge in the highly dynamic market.
Today, Melvin Sir will be sharing his insights on the intersection of creativity and business strategy, lessons from the corporate world. He will delve into how creative thinking can be harnessed to solve business challenges and drive innovation.
So, without further ado, please join us in welcoming Mr. Melvin Rufus to the stage. Can we have a round of applause, everyone, for Sir?
Hello, I hope I'm audible. So, hi everyone. My name is Melvin, and I'm currently working as the business head for Swiggy at 3 important markets, Pune, Ahmedabad, and Nagpur. A short intro about myself. So I did my schooling and UG in Trichy, so from National Institute of Technology, Trichy, and I did my masters in ISB, Indian School of Business, and so I've worked across I think a whole range of startups like Ola and Swiggy. So this is my second stint with Swiggy, and I'm also a musician, so that's the other side of me, I guess. And so I'm very delighted to be here firstly, and quite lovely to see all the young minds. And I understand that this is a diverse group of students, right? That's what I've been told. So hence I would like to keep this as general as possible, right? So I've been said that there are design students, there are business students, engineering students as well. So hence I thought I should keep it as general as possible, right? So the topic that I've been given for the day is the intersection of creativity and business strategy, right? So just to be on the same page, business strategy, by business strategy, what I understand is the end-to-end roadmap that an organization sort of puts forth to achieve the end goals and add value to all the stakeholders involved, right? So for example, if I were to put a Swiggy lens on this, who are our stakeholders? We have our customers, like all of you, the end users. We have our restaurant partners, and we have our delivery partners, right? So these three are our main stakeholders. So the business strategy for Swiggy would be, how are we continuously adding value to each and every one of these stakeholders, right? So because the moment we stop adding value is when we begin to be less of a business that is sustainable, right? So that is what at least I understand as business strategy. This obviously has a lot of components, like what is the product development strategy, what is the marketing plan, what is the financial strategy, how are our people organized, what is our people strategy, how is our, the entire from sales strategy. So all of these are parts of the overall business strategy that an organization sort of puts forth before going after adding value to all the stakeholders involved. Now coming to the other part of the whole discussion, which is creativity, this I feel is a much tougher definition to give, because it is very generic, and I think it operates at a much deeper level in human consciousness. It is like trying to explain the meaning of meaning, right? So it's very easy to describe the meaning of any word, but when you talk about the meaning of meaning, that's where things start to become a little difficult, right? And I think you would have to rather understand as opposed to just describing it. So my shot at creativity is this moment of instantaneous thought, feeling and action, right? So that is how I would like to describe creativity, right? It is a virtuous cycle of perception and communication, right? So it's not just in business, it is an art as well. So the artist basically perceives something that many people don't perceive, and whatever is perceived at a very, very deep level is then communicated to the audience, right? So this virtuous cycle of perception and subsequent communication, and then the cycle just keeps repeating, right, is what I would like to call as creativity. And I would like to use this lens of perception, communication, exchange, right, to then proceed further. Now one important point that I would like to put forth here is that I believe that creativity is natural to all human beings, right? You look at a young child and they're nothing but creative. So rather than figuring out how to be creative, I think what we should all be looking forward to is, what are the blocks to creativity that happen when people get involved in their day-to-day routines, when things become mechanical, right? So one way to understand something is to understand its opposite first. So what is a creative business strategy? It is the opposite of a very mechanical business strategy, when things go very mechanical, very routine-led, right? So if you were to see, all businesses and cultures and arts, when they begin, are highly creative, right? So, but what happens is that the routine sets in, mechanical nature sets in. So if you look at the likes of, say, Kodak or say Nokia, when these companies started out, they were like the best in the market, right? And nobody thought that people would actually, if I were to talk about people who are in school today, I'm sure most of them won't even know what Nokia is. But that wasn't the case 15 years ago, right? Everybody used to have a Nokia phone, but that's not the case today. So what happened there? I would say that one important reason that blocks creativity is insensitivity, right? What is insensitivity is basically customer needs change, right? The market changes, competition changes. What is of value today may not be of value tomorrow. So if I, as a business or as an artist, if I am not sensitive to these changing needs, then I fail to add value. So that's what happened to these businesses, right? So one of the main blocks to creativity, in my opinion at least, is insensitivity. And if you look at it from the whole perception communication lens as well, a person who is highly insensitive cannot perceive anything, right? Because they already think that they know everything. They know how to add value to the business. They've already done that several times, and they are currently sitting on an X turnover, so they know exactly what to do, right? So a person who is highly insensitive or who is becoming insensitive will stop being responsive to changing needs. So that is, I feel, the number one blocker to creativity. And the second blocker is not being vulnerable, right? So this may seem a little counterintuitive, but there is a little truth to it if you look a little deeper into the matter. So why should one be vulnerable, right? If a person is vulnerable, then they are open to feedback, right? So let's say there is, we as a business, it's very difficult. I mean, it's easy to say this, but it's actually very difficult to put it in practice, because see, the number of customer escalations that we receive as Swiggy, it takes a lot of courage to actually be vulnerable, to be open to those feedbacks, because that is where the next idea lies deeply hidden, right? So that is where, if somebody is open, if a team is open, let's say it's a product development team, let's say it's a marketing team, they take that feedback with open arms and understand that, okay, somewhere we are failing, somewhere in the value chain we are breaking, we are not adding value. And if that being open, I think, is the first stage to the inception of something new. Because if I believe that I'm already excellent in what I do, then I'm not going to continue to add value, right? So the second blocker to creativity, whether it's in business strategy or whether it's in life in general, is, I feel, the moment somebody stops taking feedback, I believe that they stop being creative, right? And the third blocker to creativity is getting too comfortable, right, in someone's space. So for example, let's say we are Swiggy and we talk about being giving unparalleled convenience to our customers. But the moment I feel or Swiggy feels that we are the kings of convenience and we are the best, we get too comfortable in what we do. Again, we fail to see what is what is needed, how flexible we should be as a business, how flexible one should be as an artist to again respond to the changing needs, right? So this is one, and I feel another reason is that we normally externalize everything, right? So for example, if as a business, what is the next thing that I should do? I look at the next product that I should develop. I look at the next feature that I should add. But am I looking internally as well, right? Because creativity does not just happen by just trying to externalize everything. Rather, again, looking at the whole perception communication lens that I was talking about earlier, am I able to internalize something new? Am I able to see things in a new way? And that is very relevant whether I'm a business or whether I'm an artist, right? So creativity is not just novelty. Obviously, there may be something new and something creative, but that is not a necessary factor, right? So one thing that happens when people try to externalize everything is they keep looking for novelty. So just because I just slap on a new feature, it's not creative, because it need not be creative, right? It may be creative, but that is not the decision-making thing, right? And another very, very, very important aspect, which I think generally goes unnoticed, is the whole angle of participation. So why I'm saying that is because generally people think that creativity is an individual phenomenon, whether it is an artist, whether it is so people think that there is this one person who was sitting and sort of ruminating over things, ruminating over problems, and then they suddenly came up with the solution that changed the world. But that hardly, if ever, is the case. So creativity is a very participatory phenomenon, right? Because if you take a business like Swiggy, if I were to give you an insider view of what really happens inside our teams, whether it is a sales team, whether it is a product team, whether it is a marketing team, right? A lot of discussions happen, and a lot of back and forth happens, a lot of tough arguments happen. And unless a group of people, or whether it is again, I'm repeating myself, whether it's an artist or whether it's a business, whether it's a school, whether it's a college, it doesn't matter. So unless this group of people can actually participate, right? And by participating, I mean there are two aspects to participation, right? One is contributing and the other is taking back from the group. So that is what I mean by participation, right? So unless there is a flow of ideas between this group of people, right, So nothing new is going to emerge. So what are the blocks to participation, if one were to see? The chief block is one's personal ego. So for example, even in a company like Swiggy, that is what we always try to battle day in and day out, right? We have the best minds, like we have, people from the best colleges in India, right? So what can be a possible block? We have the smartest folks in the world. So I would like to give this example of Einstein and Bohr, right? So since there are some engineering folks here as well, I'm sure everybody knows Albert Einstein, I'm sure everybody knows Niels Bohr, the most famous names in, at least two of the most famous names in science. So I'm not sure how many of you know that these two great scientists actually stopped talking to each other in their later life. So when they began their whole scientific journey, they had the greatest love and respect for each other. And they both wanted to understand the rudiments of how nature works and everything. Right? So, but towards the end, what happened? They were the best minds. There's nothing better that one can possibly hope for. Smartest minds in human history. And they just failed to communicate at a deeper level. Each one thought that his or her idea, in this case it's his, so both of them thought that their ideas were actually the truth, right? And once somebody decides that my idea is the truth, then that means that I turn a deaf ear to everybody else, right? I stop listening to people. I think that I know the truth, I know it all. So this is what happened in the life of Einstein and Bohr. So there was this event that happened where there was a college get-together, and people tried to actually unite them both. And what happened was, towards the end of the whole dinner party, on one side of the floor you had Einstein and his students, and on another side of the floor you had Niels Bohr and his students. Right? So the two could never connect at a deeper level. And probably if they had connected, I think science would have been different today as we speak. So more fundamental than this whole smartness, right? So if I were to look at Swiggy, I'm sure, like the other unicorn startups that we have had in India, we have some of the smartest folks in the whole country. But being smart alone is not going to get us there, is not going to help us innovate continuously. What is needed is this participation among the smart people, right? So that gives this right combination of, like the human mind, we have thought and will, we have thought and feeling. So we need this, we need this healthy combination, right? Which is, I feel that this is breaking in many startups in the world actually as we speak. So when people get to a certain level, when you hire more people, when hierarchy creeps in, when bureaucracy creeps in, what happens is that people fail to exchange ideas, people fail to respect the other's idea as my own, right? So what is the solve here? It's very easy to describe the problem. So what is the solve here, right? So I actually admire a person, he was also a scientist, but he is no more. I think many of you would know David Bohm, who was one of the, in my opinion, one of the most under-proclaimed scientists of the world, right? So he had this, in his later life, right, he basically stopped involving much in science, and he moved into studies of human consciousness, how to make people work better together, because he said that that is a much deeper problem to solve. He said science is not going to solve all the problems of the world, because if that was a possibility, by now we would be having zero problems actually. We have the best technologies in the world, but why do we have so many problems in the world? It's this lack of participation, right? So Bohm had this solution to it called a process called dialogue, right? And what is this dialogue? I feel dialogue is instrumental in a business, in a place where human beings meet, whether it is a school, whether it is a college, whether it is a family, whether it is a business. For us to be continuously creative, we need this process called dialogue. So what is dialogue, right? So the actual meaning of the word dialogue is that there is this flow of meaning. That is the actual, if you were to look at the roots of the word dialogue, it means meaning flowing through from one person to another. You can imagine like a stream, a river that just flows across the banks without stopping anywhere. So this is the final, envisioning of what a dialogue should be, whether it is a business boardroom or any other group of people talking together. So what really happens in a dialogue is that an idea which begins in one person is seamlessly transferred to another person, who then adds his or her own thoughts to it, and then it moves on. At no point it is owned by anybody. Right? It's not like it's my idea or your idea or anyone else's idea. It becomes the idea of the group, right? So when this process starts, right, how do we get there? How do as an organization How does an organization get to that process of dialogue? It's not very easy, right? So what are the blocks to this? So when people actually start talking to each other, a lot of niceties are exchanged, and everyone is like hi, hello, and people are generally very warm and friendly, right? So this is like the first stage. What happens immediately after that when when the same group reconvenes? That's what happens in organizations, right? We work with the same folks at least over a period of a few years, right? So once the initial niceties and warm exchanges are all done, so what happens is that we then get to fundamental views, right? So this may be very hidden. You may think, what is the relevance of this in a business environment? So, but see, here's the thing, right? So let's say if I'm the business head, and let's say my direct team, I have 2 folks working with me, and we 3 of us have to decide on the next strategy for Pune, the next strategy for Ahmedabad, the next strategy for Nagpur, let's say. And let's say that we are fundamentally, right, opinionated on certain aspects, whether it is business, whether it is life, it doesn't matter. What happens is that once the initial niceties are exchanged, these fundamental blocks will crop up where I realize that I'm fundamentally different from him or her, and he or she realizes that they're fundamentally different from me. And then there comes this block, where creativity stops flowing, where if that person gives an idea, I'm not looking at the merit or demerit of the idea. I'm looking at this person is the one who gave the idea, right? I'm sort of personalizing that idea, which is where the mistake begins. I think that if this person gave the idea, it cannot be right. And nothing can be more false than that. And that person thinks that if Melvin gave the idea, it cannot be right. Right? And that is where we begin to falter. So how do we stop this, right? So the solution that I propose, which I've taken from, I'm obviously as a suggestion from David Bohm in his books, and I've tried to implement it at some of our teams in Swiggy, and I'm seeing success, is basically, it's a slightly long-term process, right? I mean, you folks should actually try it in your groups, in your student groups, etc. Is when you actually start talking, right? You start talking with no agenda in particular. So we do this in Swiggy a lot, at least in my teams, where we don't straight away start talking about the problem at hand that we have to solve. You just start talking about anything in general, right? And there will come a point when those differences begin to crop up, the fundamental differences of opinion that you and your group have, right? This will begin to crop up. Once those differences crop up, there are normally 2 things that we do, right? One is we directly attack, right? If it is something of a very deep, so say for example, I'm very deeply opinionated about how Swiggy should operate, and if somebody is going to attack that, I feel that person is attacking me, right? That is a mistake I'm making, but that's how it is. That's how we all are as humans. And so the first response is fight or flight, right? So we fight with the person if the person is weak. I mean, if it's a subordinate, or we just try to squeeze ourselves out of the conversation if it is our boss. Right? So that is like a natural response. What is the second thing that can happen is we just suppress it. So we say that, okay, I have a job, I mean, I have to sustain here, and I have a family to feed, and therefore I'll just listen to whatever this person says. So these are the 2 responses that human beings normally have, in a business situation or in any situation. If it's a family, it's going to be the same thing, right? But what is the suggestion, right? What is the alternative if we have to break out of this rut and if we have to have this creativity flow between us? The solution is when we actually suspend our own ideas, right? It's a very difficult thing to do. You can imagine like a knife just suspended, right? Like, it's extremely difficult to not accept, so even this conversation that I'm having with you, it's very easy for you to accept it. It's very easy for you to reject it, right? But the most difficult thing for you to do is to actually have it floating there, where you accept it as your own idea. How would you evaluate if it was one of your own ideas? Would you give that same respect? Would you give that same, importance to whatever I'm saying now? Or would I give the same importance if you were to come and talk to me? That is suspension of one's own ideas, and, sort of giving it the same importance. Let's say there are 10 folks, who are talking to each other. Can each one of them get to that stage, right, where each one holds all 10 of the ideas as if it was his or her own idea? Now then what happens is that when all 10 in the group finally get to that stage, that's where magic begins to happen, right? So what is the magic? The magic is that something true emerges, right? Something new emerges. So everybody has put his or her thoughts on the table, and everybody is ready to accept the other person's, give it equal merit, and understand the pros and cons of everything. And there are no feelings of hatred, right? There are no feelings of partiality. right? So everyone wants the best idea to come forth, right? So once you cross that bridge, right, of feeling of all these, conflicting feelings and hatred and everything, once you cross that bridge, then something new emerges, something beautiful emerges, right? What is that? When something beautiful emerges, you see that it works, but then what is the follow-up to that is that this thing will continue to be beautiful and continue to be working only for, again, a short period of time. Because things change, right? Change is the only thing that is inevitable. So then your business changes, your customer need changes, everything changes, your competition may be doing something different. So then is that group able to again reconvene, right? And do this process again, all over again. It is something that is incredibly tough, right? It is, I'm sure all of you know this example of this, of the eagle, right? That, once it spends half its life, it then goes and bashes itself against the rocks and pulls out all its feathers and then emerges as a new eagle, right? So is this group, the group that is responsible for the business strategy, is this group able to do that whole eagle process thing repeatedly, right? Week after week, month after month, year after year? I think that the group that is able to do this, right, the smartest minds, doesn't matter. But if these smartest minds together are able to do this, time after time, that is when we have a very, very, very successful model. Whether it is a business, whether it is an artist, or whether it is a group of people trying to do anything out there in the world, I think the most instrumental thing is for human beings to actually come together and participate in the way that I was just describing. I think as a society, if we are able to do that, then not only will our business strategies be successful, but I think we would be successful as human beings, right? So that is a thought that I would like to leave everyone with, is even though there are so many blocks to creativity which I highlighted, like insensitivity, not being open to feedback, and always only worrying about novelty, etc. I think the most important thing, the most important block to creativity in business strategy is this feeling of my idea is more superior to anyone else's idea because I have XYZ background, I'm from this college, I have so many achievements, I have so many laurels, etc. And therefore, so see, the most important thing here is that nobody actually goes out there and talks all these things, right? Nobody is going to say, so say for example, I am in a discussion, all these thoughts will be running in my background and they'll actually be blocking me from listening to someone else. The funny thing here is that nobody is aware that actually these things are happening. So for example, I'm not going to go and argue with this person that, hey, my idea is the best. I'm not going to say that openly. But what will I do? Inadvertently, right? Even I don't know that I'm doing this, but I'm going to block whatever that person says. I'm going to find all the wrong things that that could or all the things that could possibly go wrong in the other person's idea, right? So the first thing for all of us to understand is for us to discover actually when we are doing this, to catch it in the moment that we are actually doing this in our group discussions, right? I'm sure as colleges you will have, as students you'll have many group discussions, right? So I would urge each of you, when you're having these discussions, to be very sensitive, right, to your body, to understand. You'll have these urges to stop somebody. When somebody is saying an opposing point of view, you'll have these urges to, you want to, you'll want to take a stance. You'll want to stop that person from conveying that thought, right? So the first thing is to be actually sensitive to these things. That even I, or you, or anybody can actually be this blocker to somebody else, right? So I think as a group of humans working together, if we are able to cross this bridge, right, of stopping each other's thoughts, stopping each other's feelings, right, if we're able to cross this bridge and come over, I'm very, very confident that we will emerge as a very, very, very successful society. And I sincerely hope that like what we're trying to achieve in Swiggy here, in some of the few teams that we are doing this as a principle, I would urge more and more people to try to do this. It doesn't matter which is the walk of life you're coming from, designers, artists, engineers, it doesn't matter. As a group of humans, if we can come to this moment of suspending our own opinions in favor of putting the group on par, right? And, suspending these feelings of anger and, resentment and thinking that I'm superior and you're inferior, etc. I think the stuff will be very beautiful on the other side once we cross the bridge, right? And on that thought, I'd like to finish my speech. And thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for Mr. Melvin Rufus for that insightful and inspiring session. Your expertise in blending creativity with business strategy has provided us with the valuable lessons that we can apply in our own work.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are having a very new element in today's day. That is Fireside Chat. So I request the stage committee to kindly arrange the dais.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a huge round of applause, let us invite onto stage our distinguished guest, Bhavna Bhatnagar, for our event today. As the co-founder of V Founder Circle, EvolveX and Avinya VC, Bhavna Bhatnagar has played a pivotal role in shaping the startup investment landscape.
Her impressive career includes impactful roles in global expansion teams at ByteDance and Cheetah Mobile, where they contributed to the company's growth across China, the US, and India. Their ability to navigate diverse markets and languages, fluent in Hindi, English, and various other languages, demonstrate their unique global perspectives and versatility.
We are honored to have Bhavna Bhatnagar with us today, and we look forward to her valuable insights. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Ms. Bhavna Bhatnagar, ma'am, for a Fireside Chat session with Dr. Prashant Iyer, Assistant Director, Startup Accelerator.
Thank you, Bhavna, for giving us your time. And today is day 4, and second-year students are going to be part of the program. My first question to you would be, how did you start your journey? Because you've got a very checkered career. I would want you to take back when you were in college, and what is the first thing you did towards your journey?
So I have a very long answer to that because I sort of accidentally became an investor. I studied biochem in my graduation. Yeah, so I started my journey studying biochem. So I had no intent of ever becoming an investor. In fact, finance was probably the last choice I wanted to study in school. I was always a science student. After that, humanities, and after that, finance. So, no interest whatsoever. But yeah, the journey has been very interesting. I think I was always a very curious personality, wanted to learn a lot of things. After biochem, I became a journalist for India Today. Spent good amount of time in the newsroom, covering a lot of stories, producing a lot of stories. After that, because I used to cover a lot of international news, I was always intrigued by the role of China, in the global economy. And I decided to study international relations, focusing on China. And hence, I, left my job and I was like, I'm going to study more. I think I want to study more. And luckily, I got 2 scholarships to go to China and US during my studies. And it was a big, eye-opening experience for me. That was my experience of first time actually understanding how global investments happen, how is China operating, right, on a big level, what is the role of US in global economy. So that was my introduction to finance in some ways, right, not really in a very hardcore manner. But yeah, I decided to stay back in China for 6 years. There I was doing product work for Cheetah Mobile and for ByteDance. At that point of time, it was a Chinese company, not really known in India or globally at all. TikTok launched, I think, a couple of months after I had joined. So TikTok Global, became a big thing in US, became huge in India. And that was, again, my experience of seeing products made for certain geographies and how big could they scale. So all of those experiences combined sort of gave me a very great experience and made me a generalist. So I call myself a generalist. I can learn about anything. And I can apply that knowledge anywhere. In China, I also used to run my own community of startups. Wow. So I used to run Startup Grind Beijing for 2.5 years. So that means I used to do such events, such fireside chats almost every 15 days for Chinese entrepreneurs and for global entrepreneurs. During that time, there was a lot of investments from China into India. As you may remember, most of the unicorns 5 to 6 years ago were made from Chinese money, right? It was all Chinese investors, Paytm, you remember these Unacademies and all of that. All of it was Ant Financial or one or the other Chinese investors was putting money there. During that time, a lot of Indian entrepreneurs started visiting Beijing because that was the tech hub, right? And I was very active in that ecosystem. So I got the opportunity to meet a lot of Indian investors and Indian entrepreneurs who were coming to Beijing at that point of time. So my entry into the Indian ecosystem happened like that. And now, I mean, I built a huge network. And then, of course, my partners today had met me for the first time in Beijing, right? So they knew about me from that time. So when they wanted to begin something in India, they contacted me because I was the global sort of, personality with global network, who could understand what a startup needs to do in order to go global. I had built products and I had built a network, and that is what they believed was one of the things that was missing in the Indian ecosystem. And as you would notice, right, in Indian ecosystem, what had been happening for a very long time was Indian startups would get funded, then they would get sold. Right? There were not many IPOs. The mindset of Indian founders was not very global. I think now we see that a lot of Indian founders believe that they can build startups that would scale outside of India as well. That was not necessarily the case a couple of years ago. So that was one of the things that my partners thought is very important for me to contribute to the ecosystem. And hence, I joined as a co-founder. Now it's been 4 years since we started. And I think since day one, we have been one of the most active angel investors in the ecosystem. And, our USP has always been volumes. So we don't invest in 10 companies in a year. We started off with the very first year, we invested in 45 companies. Next year, 62. After that, 85. Then 108 almost. So every year, we are increasing the volume of deals that we do. And of course, that is enabled by the network of 14,000 investors that we have with us today across 60 countries and the 3 funds that we are operating. So we have a SEBI domestic angel fund. We are the only network to have the license of Global Gift City Fund, which we are operating for 1.5 years now. And yes, we are very close to completing our raise in our VC fund.
Wow.
So yeah, that's how we invest so much.
A pretty checkered career. Now, as students, if you could point out to 2-3 very key skills, which is very essential as a student to grab that, because you go through from an employee journey to an entrepreneurship. So key skills are very important to get developed. So if you could share some insight.
That's a very, very good question, because now that I've been in the ecosystem, I feel one of the big gaps that exist in the VC ecosystem today is the same that you're mentioning, that journey from an employee to a founder. So what happens is that a lot of young people, they join the VC ecosystem directly after graduation. And the problem they face is, and they tell me that across funds and wherever they're working, they're like, we don't relate to the founder, because we've not built businesses. We don't understand what problems are they going through. So if you would ask me, what are the things that anyone can do before they get into investing as a professional career? Build something, build something in India, the smallest company that you can do. And actually this platform, this university is giving great opportunity to do that. Whatever grants you're getting, whatever money that you're getting, build something from it. And then you would understand what it means to be a builder, what it means to run a business. And you'd be able to understand the journey of the people with whom you want to, let's say, grow even your firm as a VC, or you want to invest in them. So you would understand what are you investing into, right? Correct. So I think that is one thing that I really believe is lacking in the ecosystem today. And I think any of the students, if you get the opportunity to build any kind of business or sell any kind of product, that selling mindset needs to be there. Yeah.
Excellent. So as students, one question keeps coming, when do I start my startup? Like, do I start now, or do I take some corporate experience and then come back? What is your secret mantra?
I would have given a different answer a couple of years ago, to be very honest. Because it's not easy to start a business. We all know that. It's very difficult to figure out, firstly, what idea should I work on? And after I get the idea, how do I get people to work with me? How do I get the money to, build a company? All of those are very valid questions, but look at us today. We are here, and here there is an entire ecosystem that is present. There are investors, there are people who are mentors, there are university, who's willing to give money. So I would say take this opportunity and build something. And definitely work in corporate. Nothing wrong in working in a corporate, because a well-developed corporate experience will teach you a little bit of discipline, will give you some idea of what a work culture should be in an office. How could you, let's say, be a good manager, for example? We have seen in our experience that some people are natural CEOs, like they transition from being a founder to a CEO seamlessly. They learn, there is a learning curve. Not everyone can do that though. So I would suggest that if you feel like there's a little bit of self-reflection and self-awareness that is needed for this, but if you feel that you do need that kind of experience, that you need to work in a place and learn how to build an organization, yes, you should do that. Otherwise, if you jump into entrepreneurship early on in your life, try to get great mentors. Seek mentors. Be aware what is lacking in you, where you cannot find a solution on your own, and just get experienced people to teach you how to do that. So you have to be a student throughout. You have to be constantly learning. If you can learn on your own, nothing better than that. But if you feel that you're struggling, then go and seek mentors who can help you become the entrepreneur that you need to be.
I also know Shreyans Daga, the founder of OLL, who got featured on the season 1 of Shark Tank. At the age of 17, you backed him. What is that thing that these students can grab that opportunity to get your backing? And what is that thing you looked at him?
So with him, the story is very interesting, and also the person who made that investment happen is actually sitting here. Monica is here. I think she'll be in the next panel. So with Shreyan, it was very interesting. So our core belief is that we want to fund companies that are doing something innovative, and a founder who knows what he is doing or she is doing, right? When I heard Shreyan's story, or when I got to know about the fact that he was already running a company since he was, 15 years old, I was like, maybe it's a hobby, it's not a business that we want to fund. So we were a little skeptical. We were like, I don't know if we want to, fund this or not, I mean, what would people say? A lot of our community of investors, they'll not take him seriously. But then I was told that I should meet him and understand and listen to his story by myself. So I met him. And he was already doing a business at 17 years of age. He was already doing 1 CR ARR at that point of time, right? And he was self-aware enough to be in a school that allows that to happen. So he was in a school that would give him the certificate, but attendance is not necessarily required, right? His parents were very supportive. They knew that their son is made for business, so let him pursue. So he had good family support for that. And he was generating good money. The problem, obviously, that we faced was he didn't know how to pitch to investors. Like he's running a good business, but how to actually make it big, how to scale it, how to present it to investors, what is going on in an investor's mind. He didn't know that, obviously. The second thing that he lacked was, I think, to understand that whatever he is doing currently is fine. But how do you actually build a business that's going to do maybe 10 CR per year? How to scale it? Does he have enough mentors? And if he actually goes out and looks for mentors, what will he tell them? So all of those things were a big sticky point for him, and he was very upfront and honest about it with us. So we were just impressed by what he had already done on his own, and that he was very aware of his shortfalls. He knew what he doesn't know, and he was like, I need your help in that. So we invested a very small amount in him, but he was okay with the terms that we gave him because he was like, see, even though I'm doing 1 crore business today, I know where I'm lacking and I need your help, so I'm not going to negotiate. And that again was slightly impressive to me because, you know, that takes a little bit of maturity to admit and to concede to the terms that we were giving him at that point of time. And he was 17, so we could not fund him technically. We had to wait till he was 18. So we had to wait 6 months that he can actually legally incorporate a company and then we can transfer the funds. But we kept training him. We kept mentoring him. We kept telling him, you know, what are the things that you're supposed to do. We kept connecting him to investors. So we opened an ecosystem for him. And that's how after at least, like I would say, 1 year and I think almost hundreds of rounds of, you know, pitches and raising 3 rounds with him. He was there in Shark Tank. And I know the famous line he said that I want to buy Byju's and today it might just be possible.
Correct. So when he said, people took it quite lightly that I would want to buy Byju, but 2.5 years hence, the story is very different and we don't know how things are going to be placed. So my next question is, how do you identify which is the next trend? And you know, AI is catching up. So if you start seeing that the plethora of companies who are now AI driven, but which is that and how do you solve a problem?
So interestingly, in the last couple of years, India has been catching up with US faster than usual. So AI honestly has been a theme for last 10 years. It's just AI also comes in waves, right? There's an AI 1.0, AI 2.0, now this is the 3.0 as in the form of Gen AI, right? What we really track is the cutting edge technology or technological advancements that are happening in the West. And because in the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of Indian techies, Indian entrepreneurs moving from US to India. That's a great move, right? I mean, a lot of Indians are in fact looking at India as a great opportunity now. So we look at those talents that, okay, firstly, what is happening outside India? We need to know. What is the cost of that technology, right? Do we have the talent here to build it? So if we come across people who have the talent to build that, we hunt those people down. That, okay, you know, these are the trends that we're running after and you have experience in that, so let's talk. That is one way. That is us going outbound. Inbound, because we have a great network and great co-investors. I mean, now after 160 startups, we know entire ecosystem and the entire ecosystem knows us. So they keep sharing deals with us in emerging sectors and evergreen sectors. So what is evergreen for us? B2B SaaS is an evergreen sector. You can invest in it anytime and it will always generate profit, right? Done correctly. Finance is evergreen in India. Education is evergreen in India. Health is evergreen in India. There's never going to be a time when these sectors would not be relevant. Been evolving so fast that there is always a new thing, you know, that comes up, a new innovation that comes up, or someone is doing something on top of the other. EV, electric vehicles, again, we've made huge bets there, and that again, now I consider it to be pretty evergreen. So these are the sectors that we look at from the evergreen point of view. We are always open to listening to any company that is building here. When it comes to emerging technologies, so we have invested in space tech. Garuda, we've invested in a couple of, I think 1 year ago. We invested in Cupa AI, quantum computing, right? We are looking at life sciences startup right now. So these are some sectors which are super niche. You would not find a lot of people who are backing these companies, but again, we go after these technologies because we see that there are trends outside and we see how they're going to grow in the country, and maybe right now is the right time to give a push to those sectors. And also create awareness. Like sometimes when you're investing in companies in space tech or you're investing in quantum, you need to really create awareness among the investors also. That these are some of the things that are going to change the way the world works. And in India, we don't know if it will happen at the same pace. But we should still give money to some of these people who are attempting to solve those problems. Because that is how any ecosystem matures. Today, when we give money, there is a lot of knowledge that we acquire through that journey. So whether the startup fails or it continues. It's still very enriching for the entire ecosystem, and that is the long-term view that we take when we invest. Yeah, so I mean the emerging sectors that we look at are a couple of these sectors where we've made recently some investments, and the evergreen sectors that we look at. In terms of what do we look personally in a company, always the founding team. That is the first thing that I will look at. Who is this person who is attempting such a brave, feat? Like, why do they want to be an entrepreneur? Do they have a history of entrepreneurship? I also check what you mentioned, employee to entrepreneur wala journey. Like, were they always an employee? Have they run businesses before? What could be their execution style be? Because I look at the entrepreneur and the team surrounding the entrepreneur, and I want to see if they'd be able to execute the plan that they're talking about. Because, I mean, ideas are a dime a dozen, right? I mean, everyone can have ideas to do something. Ultimately, it comes down to the execution. So the strong founding team is always a big push for us. After that, we look at the problem and the solution. What is the problem he's trying to solve or she is trying to solve? And what is the solution and how unique is this solution, right? So we have a team of analysts who go through multiple competitors, who look at all the market research, and we're able to tell that, okay, where do we place this company? In some sectors, there's always space for 10 unicorns. So we don't mind if someone is doing something similar, but if they are as strong, we could have a Swiggy and a Zomato, right? I mean, they can exist in the same vertical. So we know that there are certain spaces where people can do similar things and still make a lot of money for investors. So we have to look at all of those point of views also, that, let's say from a return point of view, at what stage should we enter a company? Is pre-seed making sense for us? If not, then maybe we want to wait and see some more progress, and seed or a Series A could be a better time for us to enter. Now, because we have a network and 3 funds, we are able to take a very flexible approach to investing, which is very different from how funds work. A fund will always have a certain stage at which they enter, and they will have a certain amount of money they want to commit. We luckily can decide what stage we want to enter, and at each stage we commit a different amount as per the requirement of the company. So those things sort of come into play. So broadly speaking, the team, the problem solution, right? How will they scale, the GTM, the execution style, and also at what stage are they? So these are the 4 broad criteria that we look at every time when we are thinking of investing. For students, we sometimes relax our criteria because we want to give them benefit of doubt, and we know that when we're funding students, we have to mentor them a lot more than any other founder. So in case of students, we would, probably look at the age and the experience criteria a little bit more and give them a bit of benefit of doubt before we invest.
Okay. The theme of R.I.D.E has been sustainability and climate, and we all know that climate is rapidly shifting. What are those emerging trends you're seeing in the startups contributing? Because in the next session, we have got some startups who are focusing on sustainability. And any thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, it's a big theme. I mean, I should have mentioned in the last 3-4 years, climate and sustainability has also entered into our evergreen themes, because I don't see climate going back to how it was. I see that the temperatures would rise, right? Look at the trends. Population is increasing. Hence pollution is also increasing. There are some countries that have actually adopted very progressive policies to counter these problems. India is still sort of on that path, right? They haven't really done or taken any major steps. I think one of the areas where they have done something, India has done something, I think it's in EV sector, where there is great adoption and great push for people to invest in EV startups, plus the policies around battery manufacturing. So there we see a lot of work is being done. So we've been very bullish. Like we have funded OEMs, we have funded battery manufacturers, we are funding battery optimization startups, we are funding swapping, stations and all of that. every kind of ecosystem and infra that is needed for enabling EV, we are going after it. So in sustainability, right, we are looking at decarbonization. It's huge for us, and decarbonization can happen in multiple ways. Either you adopt a technology that reduces carbonization, either you give credits, carbon credits. Those two areas we are actively investing in. We are also going after solar in a big way. Wind, not so much today, but solar again, solar manufacturers, I think solar platforms for that matter, we are funding them as well. Circular economy is huge. In fact, I just met a startup in the green room that is again doing excellent work in sustainability, right? So everything that is going to waste, how can you reuse it? There's a lot of logistics and supply chain management that comes into this particular business. Not everyone has been able to crack it, but I know a lot of people who are doing this as a small business, not as a VC fundable business, but as a small business. So we're definitely looking at that. Reusable packaging. A lot of startups have come to us for reusable packaging, basically using whatever leftover paper and using that packaging that pizza companies use, food delivery companies are using. If you can make something out of that. Reusable, I think sustainable apparel, right, like has become superbly fashionable. It's in fact a premium category now. Even in shoes, like fashion, sustainable fashion is a big thing right now. So those are a couple of things that we are sort of looking at, and we are very actively investing also, plus evaluating and also giving mentorship. Sometimes when we are not able to invest, we can just mentor them and give them business, right? And then maybe we fund them probably later. But yes, those are pretty evergreen areas for us right now. In fact, we had also funded a company which is into clean cosmetics and clean skincare. Even that, I believe, adds to the sustainability part, where everything is clean and organic, right? So whatever you're putting back into the environment is also, not going to harm the environment. So anything that can protect and preserve the earth is something that we're going after.
And today's, thank you for a detailed insight. We got in Rachna ma'am today to highlight the importance of the number crunching. And she being a finance wizard, there's a large fan following. I wanted to understand the role of importance of financial understanding when you're running a startup, because that is one challenge students face, that they make a projection on Excel, but when investors question, they tend to falter it out. How do they learn, and what should they be putting importance on learning that aspect?
I mean, that's a very relevant area to focus on. So usually what happens is, see, in investing world, we see a lot of MBAs and CAs. I'm neither. But yeah, mostly a lot of MBAs and CAs are investors. In startup world, we see usually in the founding team there would be a CA or an MBA, right? So I will take your question back to how we evaluate startups, or how do we evaluate a founding team. Every founding team needs to have someone who's going to be good in numbers, right? Eventually, everyone would need some help there. So either you have someone who can do the numbers, or you get a good CA, someone, or a CFO, because CFOs usually come after some funding has been done. Like Series A stage pe tum CFO rakh lo, but usse pehle at least have a good CA to support you, a good company secretary to do your legal and finance work. Right, that is what we look at. And if they're not able to do that, then we have our partners who are CAs. We refer the companies to them. However, one thing that is very important, you can have all the CAs working for you in the world and all the CFOs in the world, but I believe if you're the founder and CEO of your company, you better have a good grasp of the business and the financial modeling around it. And if you don't know, if you're weak there, then just learn. So I definitely advise this to all the founders, definitely spend some time learning this crucial skill. It's a skill that needs to be mastered, just like selling something is a skill, and that also needs to be mastered by any other founder.
Pitching is a very tough job, and there are plenty of rejections before you get your first breakthrough. How do you handle rejections? Because that is one big challenge which today's students face, that they don't know how to handle rejection. And in the pitching world, you get rejected every single day. How do you prepare for that?
Okay, answer very short, in very short. Firstly, I think all the founders, they're making some basic mistakes. They like to pitch to everyone. I would say that, be very selective about the investors that you pitch to, because not every investor is going to be investing in you, right? There are different categories of investors. So identify the right investor for you firstly. Strategically, even stage-wise, like go to angels if you're raising very early, or if you're doing Series A, then go to a micro VC or a VC. So firstly, select a good investor, correct investor for yourself. Secondly, your pitch deck and the story that accompanies the pitch deck has to be very clear. Everything is about emotions. Like, if you're telling me something about a company, what kind of emotions you want to, for me to experience when I'm listening to you. Ultimately, every startup is about the change that you want to bring around you. So if you have a good personal story, or if you have some story as to why this is your motivation or life's dream, then you should be able to communicate it very well. Also, again, this is a skill that not a lot of people know. So all the help that you can get, in order to prepare a good pitch deck, which clearly translates your vision into, what exactly are you trying to do. And secondly, when you talk to me or to any other investor, if you're able to translate your big vision in words, like in Shark Tank, for example, you see these people pitching without a deck, right? And they practice hours for it. Like they have to write down a script, they have to, stick to it, give the relevant numbers. So all of those are basics. And again, it takes a lot of practice, so never take it for granted. It's a skill, a very important skill, and it has to be learned, and with a lot of practice. Yeah.
One last mantra you would want to give to these students, because tomorrow is their culmination day. We are going to launch a startup challenge for them. Rahul sir has kept a huge fund to be invested in student startups so that they become eligible. So what is it, one mantra you would want to give them to build something for Bharat?
See, the opportunity that you're providing these students is incredible. It's incredible. My mantra would be, just go and get it. Just go out there and try something without the fear of failure. I think the economy, the ecosystem that we are living in right now, India is abundant with opportunities. There was a time, right, when everyone wanted to go outside of India to be successful. I mean, you have that opportunity here without having to move anywhere else. So I would say that make the most of it. Go out there and do something without really thinking too much about, if you'd be able to succeed or not. Just enjoy the journey, So I would say the opportunity that you're giving these people, I would suggest all of you try to, build something or sell something, or, just enjoy, what it is to build something of your own. And that satisfying feeling that you build something and sell something, it's great. So create some value, like just go out there and do it. I think that's my mantra.
Thank you, Bhavna. It's been a very insightful journey for them, understanding that how do they pick up those key skills and go away from fear of failure. I think that's the most important takeaway, that go and build something which is valuable, which can have a large impact. I really thank you for giving us your time. And with a huge round of applause, let's complete this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your invaluable insights. I would now request the technical team to kindly play the video for ma'am.
Ms. Bhavna Bhatnagar brings over 8 years of expertise in product development, operations, and strategy. Her career spans a diverse array of domains, including AI-based content aggregation, short video streaming, social media, and online learning social community-based mobile application products. With a background that includes working in China, the United States, and India, she has been an integral part of global expansion teams for leading companies such as ByteDance and Cheetah Mobile. As the co-director of startup Grind Beijing, she played a crucial role in fostering one of the most active startup communities worldwide, collaborating with a dedicated team of volunteers. Her diverse skill set includes product development, product design, user experience, operations, community management, business development, and marketing. Currently, she holds the position of co-founder and VC at V Founder Circle, an investment platform that focuses on early-stage startups. we warmly welcome Ms. Bhavna Bhatnagar.
Can we have a huge round of applause for Ms. Bhavna Bhatnagar? Your presence here today has been an honor and privilege. I now request our esteemed guests and dignitaries to kindly come forward and join us on the stage for group photograph. Your presence greatly enhanced this moment. Ladies and gentlemen, this is indeed an auspicious moment that we come together and welcome such distinguished personalities. Can we again have a huge round of applause for these eminent personalities? Ladies and gentlemen, we are so fortunate that even being in second year, we are thrilled to have such eminent speakers within us, and we are getting an opportunity that we are able to hear them. I now request our dignitaries to kindly join us down the stage as we proceed to next element of the session, that is panel discussion. I also request the stage committee to kindly set the stage for panel discussion.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a few announcements to make. That is, we'll be having a world record attempt tomorrow at R.I.D.E 2024 here at Swami Vivekanand Sabha Mandap. After the valedictory ceremony, the Google Forms have been circulated, and all you need to do is simply fill out the Google form and register yourself for the same. This is your chance to be part of a world record, and the participants will be receiving a certificate to showcase their contributions.
I'm also excited to announce that today at 5:30 p.m. here at Swami Vivekanand Sabha Mandap, we will be having our comedy night, the most awaited moment for R.I.D.E 2024. We'll be having with us Pramneet More as our comedian for tonight. All the details shall be shared on the Instagram page of R.I.D.E mitwpu. I request all the students to kindly follow the page for further more details. Ladies and gentlemen, as we now proceed for our panel discussion, I have a quick announcement that we will be having a Q&A session after the panel discussion. There will be question and answer session after our guest addresses us all. There are two podiums present at the left and right side in the pandal among the audience. I kindly request the students who are willing to ask the questions to walk up to the podium and ask your questions further to the dignitaries.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed panelists, and our dear attendees. In a world where pace of change is relentless, where the demands on our natural resources grow even more insistent, and where the consequences of our collective actions are becoming increasingly evident, we find ourselves at a pivotal crossroads. It is a moment in history where the choices we make today will echo the generations to come, shaping the contours of our future in profound and lasting ways.
The theme we gathered here today to explore is eco-visionaries, reshaping the future for positive impact. Is not just a topic of discussion, but a clarion call to action. It invites us to look beyond the horizon of conventional thinking, where the harmony between human progress and environmental stewardship is not just an aspiration, but a reality.
Eco-visionaries are those individuals, innovators, and leaders who dare to think differently. They are the architects of a new paradigm, one that seeks to balance the scales of development and preservation. These visionaries see the environment not as an obstacle to overcome, but as a partner in our collective journey towards a more sustainable and equitable future. They challenge the status quo, harnessing the power of innovation, technology, and community to create solutions that are both visionary and practical.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll shortly be beginning with our panel discussion. But before that, I repeat the announcement that we will have a Q&A session as we proceed with our panel discussion at the last after our guest addresses us all. There are two podiums present in the audience, one at the left side and another at the right side. Students willing to ask the questions have to kindly walk to the podium where student volunteers are present to assist them, and further they would have to ask their questions.
I would now request Dr. Ishwar Krishnan Iyer, Dean of Ramcharan School of Leadership, MIT World Peace University, and Dr. Dipendra Sharma, Dean School of Business, MIT World Peace University, to join us on our stage to felicitate our panelists.
I would also request our moderator, Dr. Prashant Iyer sir, to kindly join us on the dais.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am thrilled to welcome you all to explore more on the topic through panel discussion. We have with us Mr. Amod Kulkarni, the founder of the Kapda Project, Mr. Kapil Malhotra, MD and founder of Total Solutions Group, Ms. Monica Gupta, co-founder of Early Seed Ventures, Ms. Gauri Kavi, co-founder of Swardhara. I request all the panelists to kindly join us on the stage. Can we have a huge round of applause for our panelists? We have with us today Mr. Amod Kulkarni, the founder of Kapda Project, Mr. Kapil Malhotra, the founder of Total Solutions Group, Ms. Monica Gupta, co-founder of Early Seed Ventures, Ms. Gauri Kavi, the co-founder of Swardhara. I request everyone to join their hands in welcoming us. Give a huge round of applause, everybody.
Now request Dr. Ishwar Krishna Iyer sir, Dean of Ramcharan School of Leadership, to join us and felicitate our esteemed panelists. Mr.
Oh, sir.
Mr. Amol Kulkarni, I would like sir to felicitate Mr. Amod Kulkarni. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to welcome Mr. Amod Kulkarni, the visionary founder of the Kapda Project. His dedication to sustainable fashion is transforming the industry, providing the style and sustainability that can go hand in hand. Through innovative approaches, Kapda Project is adding values by focusing on scale and enhancing the user experience. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Amod Kulkarni. Now, like to request Dr. Ishwar sir to kindly felicitate Kapil Malhotra sir, the MD and founder of Total Solutions Group. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to introduce our esteemed guest today, Mr. Kapil Malhotra. As the head of Total Solutions Group of companies, Mr. Malhotra, the lead and dynamic organization with a footprint across 35 locations in India, serving industries ranging from retail and real estate to industry of entertainment and technology. His expertise spans market research, audits, asset management, and strategic consulting. Can we have a huge round of applause for Mr. Kapil Malhotra?
Now, I would request Dr. Dipendra Sharma sir, Dean of School of Business, MIT World Peace University, to kindly felicitate our next panelist, Ms. Monica Gupta. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to welcome Ms. Monica Gupta, a dynamic force in the business world. With over 12 years of experience as a chartered accountant, she has guided over 500 entrepreneurs across diverse sectors, helping them build strong and sustainable businesses. As a co-founder of Early Seed Ventures and an angel investor in cutting-edge industries like EV, defense, and fintech, her impact on the Indian startup ecosystem is profound. We are honored to have her with us today. Please give a huge round of applause in welcoming me to join Ms. Monica Gupta. Now I would request Dr. Swati Bankar, Associate Dean External Relations, School of Business, MIT World Peace University, to join us in welcoming Ms. Gauri Kavi. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to welcome Mrs. Gauri Kavi, a renowned music professional with over 25 years of experience. As co-founder of Swardhara, she has revolutionized Hindustani music education, reaching over 12,000 children across India with 20 solo albums, 1,500 concerts worldwide, and over 40 million views on her videos. Her impact is immense. Currently, she is exploring how music can aid the well-being of special children. We are thrilled to have us with her today.
And now I request all the panelists to kindly take their seats. Our esteemed panelist here today brings with a knowledge of wealth and experience that will provide a valuable insight and ignite the engaging conversations. I now hand it over to our moderator for today, Dr. Prashant Iyer, sir.
Thank you, everyone. I know that it's been a very long day, traveling across cities, traveling across states. Thank you for coming. Today's panel discussion is mainly focused on sustainability of entrepreneurship and careers, both, because all of you all have started being employees or professionals and then got into serious entrepreneurship. So the first question to Monica would be, what is that one thing you could relate from your journey? That how did you transition? Because that's a large movement of students happening where they want to understand how do I take my first step?
Okay, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for that question, Prashant. Your question was more about how did I transition in my journey. So mine has been a very dramatic journey, actually. I was a homemaker till the age of 34, okay? And then I completed my chartered accountancy at that age. I gave my final exams after 3 children, and that's how I became a CA, and started a CA firm, and started helping entrepreneurs in their, right from a company incorporation, helping build up businesses, and in their growth journeys. And after a few years, when they wanted to grow their verticals and go beyond geographies, they needed money. And that was a time, it would be either referring them to some debt syndicators or investors. And they would come back to us for validation of the financial statements, for validation of, the projections and valuations. And that's how we then, entered the journey of being investors ourselves. We partnered with a very leading angel fund in 2020 called Venture Catalyst. But very soon we saw that the funnel of startups that are reaching out to us is so huge that just one investment or a VC fund couldn't, take care of that. And that's how began the IB journey, and we're today connected with a lot of IB funds. And last year we started our own syndicate, Early Seed Ventures, wherein all the HNIs who want to participate and start investing with minor amounts, diversifying their risk, we offer them that platform. And we've invested in 7 to 8 companies so far. We are a conservative investors. We come in as, tag-along investors to the main lead investor. And yeah, that's been our journey so far.
One common thing, again, which we have, again, 2 celebrated chartered accountant. Kapil sir, again, being a celebrated chartered accountant with, again, a checkered history. The first question to you would be that when did you take this journey of becoming an entrepreneur and saying that I will keep my CA behind and I would definitely want to pour into that startup ecosystem?
I would like to start by thanking the entire team at MIT for inviting all of us here. I think it's a privilege, it's an honor. I think it's a great opportunity for everyone to be here witnessing this R.I.D.E event today. And I would also like to wholeheartedly congratulate Monica, you that at the age of 34, when you took your career in your hands and you became a chartered accountant at that stage. And I think that it shows the spirit of an individual that kisi bhi mode pe kuch bhi agar ho, you can change the journey. And hence you can change the destination. I think Monica definitely should get a clap for this. This is very well done. Very well done. Coming to my journey and 2 decades plus now, 25 years of being a chartered accountant, life is very interesting. It takes different turns, right? We sometimes plan for something, but something else happens. So I think one of the things that I have learned is that you need to keep walking, keep moving ahead. And then you will find across the journey that you have crossed certain milestones. But yes, there has to be an element of planning behind it. Sometimes we think that we will plan our work, but what is very important that you work your plan. If you don't work your plan, then things don't move in that direction. When I was looking at the title today, I mean, I'll just very briefly say something, and then I'm sure you'll be talking about sustainable and climate as well. I was recently at an event where we had Mr. Jaishankar at that event and talking about climate and sustainability. And then obviously we have the Kapda project here, which is working around the concept of that as well. There was one thing that really got stuck in my head during that conference that I still remember. So there's something known as stealing from the future. So if you see whatever we're doing today, and all these climate changes that we're seeing, all the issues that we're seeing globally, it's because we are at a rapid progress without being responsible and accountable, so we are stealing from the future. When you're stealing from the future, the impact is also going to be in the present, and definitely it's going to be in the future. So it's very important that now the future of the world is sitting here, the future of India is sitting here in front. So all decisions that are being taken today, let's say we flip this and we say, how can we contribute to the future, not just steal from the future?
Thank you, Kapil sir. Very interesting insight on how do you contribute, because the entire idea is only if you contribute, you're going to receive in multitude. The next question to Gauri is, you've been a professional singer. What motivated you to, extend that into the education system? So any insights about your journey of how you transitioned?
First of all, thank you very much for this opportunity where I can really share my thoughts on such a great platform. It's an incredible journey for me because I was never trained to be an entrepreneur. I never thought I can be an entrepreneur. And I was just an artist who wanted to become an artist, who wanted to remain an artist all my life. But during my journey as an artist, when I used to perform on stage, when I still perform on stage, the best comments that I get from the audiences when they come and meet me is, "Ma'am, आपकी आवाज़ कितनी अच्छी है." तो मैंने कहा कि अरे मेरी जो आवाज़ है उसमें मेरा तो कुछ भी नहीं है. I don't do anything because I have not done anything to get the timbre of voice that I have got. It is a natural thing. The thing that the audience should be actually noticing in my music is the way I present my music, the way I express the words, the way I connect with the audiences musically, and they are not able to do this because they have not learned the art of music. And that is where I understood that the journey, the inward journey that normally as an artist, normally an artist has, कि I should grow and मेरा गाना अच्छा होना चाहिए, मेरा गाना लोगों ने सुनना चाहिए. I think it's time for me to take this step outside of myself and undertake the outward journey where I need to go out into the people, I need to go out into the audiences and educate them what music can do, what magic music can do in their lives. So basically when we talk about music, it is all about listening and vocalization. Like the group that we are sitting here right now, we are all exactly listening to what Prashant sir is saying and trying and respond to what questions you're asking us to. So it is exactly the same about music. Just hearing is not enough. There is a lot of people who are just hearing what is being said, but there are very less people who are exactly listening to what is being said, who are exactly trying to process what is being said and then responding, and going forward they will be taking actions based on this listening. So this listening as a capacity, or this listening as a sanskar, that needs to be developed, and उसके बाद में जो आता है, that is vocalization, where we try and express our thoughts into the audiences. And music for me is a sort of expression which I need to go into the audiences and I need to teach them. So that is how I came into this journey of entrepreneurship, where I understood that people really need to engage with music on a much deeper level than just listening to Spotify's and Gaana.com. And that is where we have created Swardhara. And one more very important theme that we are dealing with today is sustainability. And sustainability for me is preservation. Preservation of the thousands of years of tradition that we have. Because हमारे पूर्वजों ने जो हमारे लिए कुछ करके रखा है, like Kapil sir said right now, seeing into the future, or rather seeing from the future. So as artists or as people, we have really, put our hands into the future and इतना कुछ लिया है हम लोग ने future से कि हम भूल गए कि अभी क्या है future में हमारे लिए store में. So as an artist, as an ambassador of music, if I don't take music seriously and I don't really take it to the people, then there is going to be nothing left in the future for Hindustani music. And that is where I come in as an artist, and this is my, in short, a journey about entrepreneurship.
Thank you, Gauri.
Thank you.
Next question to Amod. You've been a sustainable champion, and when we were, my organizer were asking that, sir, are we getting a model? Because you're differently dressed, so I would want you to start from that and then share about what are you trying to do and what is the impact you're trying to make this world a better place.
Sure. So, sir, first of all, I want to thank R.I.D.E and the organizing committee, because this marks the complete of a cycle which started 10 years back. I was a person who was sitting in the audience. I was a person who was organizing the event. And now I'm the person who is sitting on the dais. So for me, it's a circle which is completed and also takes back me to my nostalgia and how adventurous it used to feel to organize events, and now how I am feeling anxious as a speaker on the stage. Coming back to your point about my appearance, that's how Kapda project started. We want to feel comfortable. If we are feeling comfortable, we feel confident. And if I am confident, then I can excel in what I do. If harems, kurtas and jacket make me feel confident, make me feel comfortable, I can do or give 100% at work. That's what the ideology we want to pass from Kapda project, that when you are wearing Kapda project's product, you should feel authoritative, you should feel confident, because you are creating impact. You are saving those fabrics from going to landfill. You are helping somebody to earn livelihood by just wearing a shirt. So and this is a step towards going to conscious consumerism. We want people to think what are they buying, how it is made, whether is it a need or a want. And that's where, as Kapil sir rightly said, we are stealing from the future. So this is the generation which will bring this change in the consumerism, where they will think first and then buy, because other generations have already bought. They have already stolen from the future. Now the present generation, who is dependent or who is going to change the future, are taking huge steps towards conscious consumerism, but it takes everybody of us to have that awareness and to spread that awareness. Because sustainability is a behavioral change. It has to come from within, it has to come from individual. And it is not a group of people doing that will create impact. We as a country are somewhere around 130 crore people, that's according to 2014 statistics. We have increased that number. So everybody has to do something on their part. The moment we start understanding कि ये दुनिया की problem नहीं है, मैं भी दुनिया का part हूँ, ये मेरी भी problem. So I have to take some effort. Individually सब लोग करेंगे तो एक बड़ा impact होगा. And that's how Kapda project started, and that's how we started thinking of how we can impact others and also create quality out of impact.
Amazing. Question to Monica, in the entrepreneur journey, your co-founders play a very big role. Now, a lot of these people who sit, they come in groups and ask, how do I choose my team? Because at the age of 17, 18, typically they would sit and have a discussion and they'll feel, okay, this looks good. So how do you choose your partners? Because a lot of friends, they come together and one dispute comes and they fall apart.
Yeah, it's a great question, Prashant. So I think we should look at what are the qualities that a company, a co-founders should have to make a great company, right? That will lead me to the answer to this question. So, of course, a co-founder may have a founder may have a great technical skill or may have a great knowledge. But there are a lot of other aspects which are required. For example, it's great networking, it's great marketing, it's fundraising skills, its ability to have good financial background. Now, one person may not be able to have that. So he or she should look at others who can fulfill this, which they don't have. So a co-founder may be a perfect person who can fill in these kind, and together, they can have these attributes or skills for making up for a great company. Now, how do you find such people? The more you network, the more you attend events, the more you go to startup events, the more you go to mixers, the more these kind of events at student level, where you're constantly talking about your ideas and brainstorming and getting to know people who are interested in your vision and mission, and spending some time with them rather than just getting immediately, chalo, let's start a company. Because you may be great as friends, but you may be not gelling together when it comes to taking professional decisions. So spending some time with each other and then taking that leap of faith. So if that answers your question.
I think choosing the right blend and complementing skills is very important.
Yes.
Building on that, my next question to Kapil would be, when Modi ji said that, pakoda is a business and people should sell pakodas, and we had a lot of trolls happening saying that, how is that a business? But I understand that you have found one such amazing startup and they went on Shark Tank. So wanted to know that what made you feel that a pakoda could be a business which is investment worthy?
Yeah, it's sometimes, Monica, when you also said that, we are conservative investors, iska matlab hum soch samajh ke decisions lete hain, we don't jump into every deal. But by definition, investors are optimists. हम किसी और के सपने पे अपना टाइम एफर्ट और पैसा लगाते हैं, right? So conservative तो word ही नहीं है. I think optimist is the word. But I get what you're saying. Coming to what you said, I remember when I met the team at Mad over Paranthas and Pakodas, Gitika and Gigi, Gaurav. There were two chemistries that I saw. One chemistry was in the pakoda. That means how did they deep fry the pakoda, put it on the plate, and there was no oil in it. So I was like, how is this possible? And whenever it rains, the best bahana that we all have, pakode banate hai, right? And we all know that we don't want to have more than whatever number that they are. But here, I was having one after the other. And I did not feel that oiliness or that heaviness in the product. So that immediately got my attention. It's like, we all drink water, but imagine there's a particular type of water that you drink that not only quenches your thirst, but also makes you feel active and happy. That's another startup idea that I'm throwing to everyone, because you consume water every day. The same thing was with these pakoras, because the more I was eating, the more I was getting intrigued. Isme aisa kya hai? And Gaurav Gigi is an IIT Bombay graduate. So I asked him, ki, bhai sahab, aap pakode bana rahe ho? So he said that, boss, इसमें बैटर का ingredients क्या है, उसको कैसे बनाना है, उसको overnight कितना soak करना है, and at what temperature do you need to fry, where the oil only heats the pakoras, it does not ooze in, is where IIT Bombay has helped me.
Wow.
So I was like, oh my God, this is serious stuff. This is like rocket science. This is not just pakoda science. And that is where the confidence came in, that these guys really know what they're doing, right? So that chemistry was in the pakoras. And then there was another chemistry between the two founders, right? Luckily, they were husband and wife, so their chemistry was oozing out pretty well. But I think just picking on your question and what Monica also said, I met a solo founder recently. He came up with the same problem. That's how do I find my co-founder? So I said, Tinder pe to jaoge nahi, right? You need to find the co-founder, and this is a business co-founder, so you have to be very sure. I said, you first navigate. Come back to me with 5 options. Kuch socho pehle. Because you have to go on the hunt. And you need to find out the ways yourself. That is what the ride of entrepreneurship is. The ride of entrepreneurship is that you navigate and you do things yourself. Someone guides you somewhere. Someone gives you direction. Someone becomes your GPS. Someone becomes your lighthouse. GPS में आपको direction मिल रही है. Lighthouse में वो बोल रहे इधर मत आओ, यहाँ पत्थर है. मगर speed आपकी है. वो आपने सोचना है. So this young founder came to me and he said, sir, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I met these 5 people. एक मुझे LinkedIn पे मिला, एक मुझे Y Combinator का एक co-founder का एक cohort है, where you can find co-founders. Third was some mixers and networking and so on and so forth. I said, who is number 1? And who is number 5? And give me reasons there too. Now, it's very interesting when you ask such a question and you peep into the person's mind to understand. So there were some positives and negatives and all that. At the end of that 1.5 hour conversation, the only advice that I could give that person, if you try to find someone who is like you, then that's not a great choice. You have to find someone who thinks differently, who can challenge you, who can make you pause, stop, think, rethink, and then take a decision. If you need a yes man, then that's not your co-founder. तो आपको सबसे पहले ये देखना है कि diversity in thought, not only in gender. आपको diversity चाहिए सबसे पहला. तो वो समझ आ गया उसको कि यार मुझे अपने जैसा नहीं ढूंढना है. मैंने कहा तभी तो फिर आपके skills different होंगे. आज on the table today, all of us have different skills. अगर हम सारे same होते, तो हम इकट्ठे table पे नहीं होते. Correct. Although they're 2 people of the same qualification, but again different in one way or the other. The second and the most important thing that I told this person, that co-founder की जो journey होती है, if you look at all the top successful companies, if you look at Berkshire Hathaway, where we have Warren Buffett and Charlie, who was his partner for so many decades, of course they thought differently. Of course, they had different thoughts. But there is one thing in partnership or in an organization that ticks and that should work. Is something, if I take you back just a few months ago in the India World Cup, where we were staring down the barrel, 4 overs to go, 30 balls, X number of runs. It was a clear loss for the Indian team. Now, what happened at that time? Everyone took responsibility of the next 30 balls. It was not only Surya's catch, or it was not only someone's bowling. It was not only Rohit Sharma's leadership. It was not only Virat Kohli's exploits. It was getting everyone to tick at the right time, and no one blaming fingers at anyone. That आपने ball drop कर दी, आपने catch छोड़ दी, आपने ये पकड़ लिया. No. So, when you choose a co-founder or a partner, the first and foremost thing that you need to have and think कि मुझे ये गाड़ी चलानी ही चलानी है at any cost. And that is where your people skills come to the front. The most important skill that all of you need out here is not only your mathematical, chemistry, your knowledge, your entrepreneurship, your Excel skills, your business skills, your technical skills. No. The most important skill is your people skill. And that is where co-founders at times get into loggerheads, partnerships break, enterprises have issues, organizations fail. But you see 2 humble entrepreneurs work together, and then you see them reaching the heights of glory. So the most important skill of an individual is to understand himself more, work on himself or herself even more, accept the other person, and figure out the way to work together. So that is what my journey has been, to work with different people and to learn from them and to get the best out of me through them. If you're on this mission, you'll succeed.
Very important skill, I think. People skills. From people skills, I'll have a question to Amod, because when we heard his first pitch, we saw Veer Das wearing his, creation and absolutely paying no money to him. So what is the thought behind, and how did you do the jugaad connection of using your people skills to reach out?
So finally, I got a platform where I can talk about this story. So just to give a background of, we got a chance to style India's only Emmy Award winner, Veer Das, for his 2 shows in Goa and Nagpur. And this started in June 2023, where Veer Das put out a post saying that I'm looking for Indian local-based labels who are doing good but are not getting recognitions to apply to style me. And I got the company incorporated in May. 27th May is where I got the company incorporated, and June 1st is where he put out a post. And I didn't have an Instagram, I didn't have a website. I was not selling stuff immediately. But I had worked with Veer almost 4 years back when I was into event management, and that time I knew how patchy his life was. And I decided that because he was into hospitality first, then became an actor, now he's a stand-up comedian, now he's an artist. So there are different patches which come together, and then Veer as an individual comes out. So I thought, okay, if ever I get a chance to style him, I'll do a patchwork collection. But I was like, how can I apply? I don't have anything ready with now. So that's where my people skills came into picture. I asked 100 of my friends to go on his Instagram and just comment, try Kapda Project. And 100 of my friends actually went on that post and wrote, you should try Kapda Project, they are doing wonderful stuff. Fast forward to this, I had already applied to that, but not sent any sample. His manager gives me a call, people are talking about you. Where is your website? Where is your Instagram? And that's where I leveraged. So I feel, Prashant sir, it's all about leveraging what you have. And the biggest leverage, as rightly said by Kapil sir, or echoed on that, is people skills. The biggest investment I have made in life is on people. I invest in people, I trust them, and that's how I believe that it will come back to me as a result of trust. That's what Kapda Projects believes in, that you believe in each other, you believe on the person who is working with you, and you believe in their capabilities. If they are not believing, you make sure they believe in their capabilities. That's where the confidence going through the clothes comes into picture. So that's the story of how we leveraged on my friends to get Veer where the clothes were made. And when he saw the clothing, it was called Veer Vastra because it had patches of fabric which are made in India across different states, and they came together. And he was very happy to see this, and the moment he saw this, he's like, you will not do only Goa, you'll also do Nagpur, because you are from Nagpur, that is where your team works. And both of the shows, he called us on stage, gave us the opportunity to speak about what we do. He didn't even charge something for us, but paid us for this. That is his, so that's where I feel that awareness of sustainability has to come from public figures, influential people. Now, I will very clearly say Veer Das is an influencer. I don't consider Instagram or Reels or TikTok people as influencer. Basically, Veer, what he does is trying to influence people through his work. And he does this like how Kapda Project styled him. There was a singer who opened the show for him. So he influenced that, okay, this singer sings a lot of good songs. Why don't she come get an opportunity? So, sum up to my answer, that's how people skills work, and that's how awareness has to be created. That's how we have to influence people more.
As volunteers, there's a large team which is behind organizing a ride and expo. The biggest learning is, one, you will find your co-founder in such friendships, because people, I look at R.I.D.E as a startup, that you will have to build your people skills to make people work. You're not like a corporate, you can't give orders. My volunteers are working till late night to put up a good show. And you need to have your 100 craving fans who are there to support you. So my next question to you is, because people skills, partnership, and having a good co-founder is very important. In your case, your husband is a co-founder, so how do you manage both? Because there is the home and there is also the boardroom challenges which you will be facing. But before that, if you could share what you exactly do in schools, because people are like wondering, what does Swaradhara do? How is it different? So if you could give us a glimpse of your story in that form, it'll help.
So I'll tell you firstly what we do as Swaradhara. So as Swaradhara, we are an organization that takes the scientific benefits of Hindustani music to school children. Why school children? Because they are the next generation of our country. And that is where the schools are the place where children come to learn. So they are already in that zone of learning. So they are able to catch things better. So first, we are going to target the school children. So when we thought about going to the school system, a little of history here I would like to share. I started an academy, a music academy, wherein I wanted to open an academy of myself and take music to people out there. But when I started an academy, there was always, 30, 50 people coming in and out of the academies. And when I spoke to Amol, who's my husband, I said, I'm not here to teach 30 and 50 people. If people don't know what I'm here to give, I need to go out to the people. And that is where we decided that we need to go to schools with music. Because music has always been looked at. I mean, for the last 100, 150 years now, music has always been looked at as art. और music क्यों सीखना है? Stage पे जाके गाना गाओ या कोई instrument बजाओ. इसके परे म्यूजिक का आज कोई अस्तित्व ही नहीं है हमारी सोसाइटी में, which I wanted to change. So when we decided to go into the school system, we had to modify ourselves to suit the school system. Generally जब म्यूजिक सीखते हैं किसी भी गुरु शिष्य परंपरा में, तो there is one guru sitting in front of one शिष्य. फिर आप आज आपका मूड क्या है? लास्ट टाइम जो आपको सिखाया था वो आपको समझा है, नहीं समझा है, फिर आगे आपको क्या करना है, उस तरीके से डिसाइड होता है कि आज हम क्या सीखेंगे गुरुजी से. एंड दिस वाज द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट प्लेस वेयर माय हस्बैंड, हु इज़ अ कंप्लीटली नॉन म्यूजिकल पर्सन, केम इन एंड ही सेड कि ये ऐसा तो नहीं चलेगा. Because schools में जब सीखते हैं, there has to be a structure to what you are learning. Because when we consider music at par with all other subjects, we are always equipped with a curriculum. We are always equipped with a structure of that curriculum, and there are methods कि आज ये सीखना है, कल वो सीखना है, परसों ये सीखना है. And all the universities across the world, all schools across the world have designed this curriculum, where Hindustani music lacks a structured curriculum that can go into the school system.
Can you give a demo, a small thing, a recital of what exactly happens inside school?
See, generally schools में अभी तक क्या होता था कि music teachers used to come in and either they used to carry a harmonium and they try to teach. So if we are to do a demo here, how do we do it? Are you able to sing with me?
I think we could ask Monica.
Monica ji or Kapil ji?
No, she's only good.
I know.
Yeah, you could do with Kapil sir. He's got a good baritone voice.
Yeah. See, generally क्या होता है, when there are 50 children, like there are today 500, 600 students sitting out here, if I go as a teacher and stand up on stage and I ask them to sing कि चलो आप गाइए सा. Do I ask them?
Yeah, you can.
Hi students, are you awake? Are you ready to sing? Can you sing with me? Sa. One more. Sa. So this is what typically happens when everyone comes with a different sa. Because there is no base on which they have to base their own sa. So if I am singing sa, there will be somebody who will come in sa, 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 sa. So yeah, ऐसा नहीं होता boss. If it has to be a sa, it has to be sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa. Great. So what we did was to bring in Thank you. So, to teach music in classrooms, we incorporated a little of technology and we have prepared Swardhara music app, and all music lessons, even in the classroom, are conducted through the Swardhara music app. Because music cannot be learned by just reading into textbooks. It is a question and a subject of listening and vocalization. So you need to listen to the correct frequency and then sing. So all the classroom learning happens through the Swardhara music app.
Thank you. Kapil sir, question to you now. When we look at startups, traditionally we feel we need to have a tech background or it has to solve a large problem. You're investing in such startups which are very diverse. So what is that you're looking at that where students can build, because there's an MIT startup challenge which is going to get launched. What is it they can build, because music, it's widely available. Kapda project, you have tailors who can make. So what is the differentiation they are bringing on the table, which you as an investor, you're looking at?
No, absolutely. I think it's a very, very, very important question in terms of what are these organizations doing. So tech today is an underlying common denominator. It's not a differentiator anymore, unless it's very serious, deep tech. Now, I remember when I was speaking to Gauri and to Amod as well, and conversations keep on going, and if you heard what she said, was I'm not here to teach 30, 50 students. I want to impact 3 million, 30 million lives. And मुझे याद है जब हम बात कर रहे थे तो उन्होंने भी मेरे से गवाया था सारे गामा, and I tried it once, the second time, and the third time with my eyes closed, I got better, right? And one thing that she also said is that, Kapil, imagine when you were young, if you got this opportunity to sing this way. All of us are singers. None of us are not singers. Everyone is a singer on this planet. Some of us sing in the car. Some of them are bathroom singers. Some of them are humming on the way while coming to the R.I.D.E event. हम सब गा रहे हैं. सब गाते हैं, right? But if there is a way that I can get better, and if there's something that can help me, and that is where Swardhara got my attention, of the impact that it can make, right? What type of technology they're using, I don't care. Whether it's A, B, or C. But can they take this to the next level? If you look at Hindustani music and vocal versus different music forms in the world, I think our music form is very enriched. It's very soulful. It can transcend. Like the word Om in itself or Saregama in itself. It's very powerful, right? So that's the reason why we've invested and we want to associate with companies like Swardhara. But more importantly, the people behind it as well. You know, the people, if you've heard, अभी तालियां हमारे में हमने बात करी, किसी की तालियां नहीं बजी. मैडम के लिए तालियां बजी है, because it did connect with everyone. And उसमें कोई शब्द नहीं बोले गए. उसमें कोई शब्द नहीं था. उसमें सिर्फ आवाज थी. Right? So I think that's very important. अगर आप ध्यान से सुनिए. Coming to the Kapda project again, you know what really got our attention is again the founder, the person, the quality of the person behind the concept and the commitment to it. So whenever we talk to each other, I'm sure there are a few things that he takes back home, processes and would imbibe, but there's something that I would learn. And as long as you're able to do that, because every time I come to MIT, I will never have the same thing that I said last time. There'll always be something new. And Prashant, you're testament to that. And I also see how you have been asking more questions, because you're evolving as an individual as well. So this is the hallmark that we look in people. Tech has to be there in one form or the other. That is what me and him were also discussing. Isme tech or kaise laye hum, right? But yes, if there is a startup or a venture that can create an impact and a positive one, I will go for it.
Wow, interesting. So impactful solutions is the need of the hour, and taking that leap of faith, because at this age, there are wonderful ideas which come, you'll have wonderful friends, you'll have conversations. But if you don't stitch it together and take that first step, you don't know how to start the journey. And me and Monica, when we were having the discussion of organizing a boot camp for the interested students, because startup journey, starting is very easy, but continuing the journey is the most difficult part. And I wanted to highlight the importance of a structured program learning, because you will be learning a lot of academics, but when you're running a company, there are certain more things which are required. And how did you structure the boot camp, and why the boot camp is going to be impactful for anyone who wants to launch a company?
Thank you for that question, Prashant. And yeah, I mean, Gauri, it was beautiful hearing you. I wish I had, done that training now.
With Prashant's due permission, we would like a singing session at the end of this discussion. We would all sing there, yeah.
Done. So coming to your question, Prashant, we've seen a lot of companies, even though they have got funding, and they've got great ideas. They've got great founders, but after getting funding also, they haven't succeeded. And a report says that almost 90% of the companies, startups fail in the first 5 years of their inception, right? In fact, I was just reading that last year alone, there were around 30,000 startups that have, going down or have failed. Now, why is this happening? In spite of having funding or in spite of your ideas being very good. So what we've seen, in some of, when we've gone back and deep and seen the failures, we've seen that there are certain fundamental things which are kind of overlooked, especially in the early stage startups, which is, probably not having great financial management, or not have delved 5 years down the lines, your projections, and how you're going to manage that really well. It's, so things like these where you've overlooked having a great back-end team with an accountant in place, with your legal documents in place. There are certain terms, when people sign term sheets, they are so eager, okay, I'm getting funding, and they overlook certain important terms in those, which can really be very detrimental going further. They stop you from your next rounds. They, it can put a full stop over there. It can be really detrimental. So the boot camp, what we are organizing, is basically to make these young founders aware of certain things, like how to have your projections in place, what are the legal things that, the legal documents, for example, a co-founder's document, stuff like that, your legal documents which should be there, the terms which you should be aware of, what can be your go-to-market strategies. You may be fundamentally good in certain things. What are other things that you can, be aware of? If you're having a great product, but you don't know how to validate it, what are the various things for actually getting it into the market, stuff like that. And then, of course, what's the perfect pitch, what an investor would like to hear, and how do you go about your fundraising in various stages, right from your early stage, so that you don't waste time, going to a PE investor who is probably not interested coming in at this stage. Also, how do you get the right stakeholders in your companies earlier on?
Like having a strategic investor is very important coming in your early stage if you can get that, because he or she is not going to just put in money, but is also going to give you a lot of good advice and mentorship, also opening up the market for you, with the space that they're coming in from. So the bootcamp is going to address all of these things, and if you're present to all of this before you start your fundraising, I think it could add value to the founders.
Thank you. I think learning a structured program and building that dream into a reality is very important. And it's a commitment, because Kapil sir rightly said that you will have wonderful ideas, but if you're not committed to that particular idea to make an impact, it will just fizzle out. Looking at the positive of time, I wanted your closing remark. What is that one X factor which is going to differentiate between a successful entrepreneur and somebody who's a wantrepreneur? I have an idea, but I'm not actually, I'm just in the cycle of wanting to do a startup. Or I will, print my cards, I'm a founder, but actually I'm not doing anything. So what is that one X factor you feel as futurepreneurs of these students, they should be very watchful?
Don't give up. You started the entrepreneurship journey. It's a tough journey. It's not easy. But if you know your vision, don't give up. There will be a lot of things which will come in between. You may have to pivot. You may have to mold yourself to different things. Be like a sponge. Learn and don't give up. That's the one
thing. Don't give up. Okay, interesting. Kapil sir?
Yeah, I think I would like to start by saying, shuru karo, start karo.
Okay.
आधे लोग उसी में dilemma में फंस जाते हैं. It's like, when you want to do the 10-kilometer run every day, what I tell to some of my friends, just tie your shoelaces and walk for 1 minute. You don't have to do 10 kilometers. वो 1 minute कभी नहीं होगा, वो हमेशा 5 या 10 मिनट होगा. 1 minute के लिए कोई वॉक नहीं करता है. वो shoelace बांधने ज़रूरी है. वो business शुरू करना ज़रूरी है. And 100% agree that you have to be like a sponge, skill yourself up, make lesser mistakes, have very open mind and ears, and just keep walking.
Oh, interesting. Don't give up, shuru karo. What is that thing, X factor?
For me, it is absolute passion and a razor sharp focus on your goal as to where you want to go and what you want to achieve. We cannot be as naive to understand that there will not be challenges when you already set a goal for yourself. I don't want to boast, but I have myself been through cancer journey. And just 6 months into Swardhara and I was detected with cancer. But then I utilized those 8 to 10 months of treatment to create Swardhara curriculum, and I understand the importance of music. And I also spoke to my parents who were like, अभी ये सब बंद कर दो, music वैसे ये सब liability है, तुम मत करो, तुम अपनी health पे focus करो. I said, पापा मैं वही कर रही हूँ. If I am focusing on what I want to do, I am focusing on my health. And this is the razor sharp focus. I said, कुछ भी हो जाए मैं तो ये achieve करके रहूँगी, क्योंकि कुछ करने निकले हैं तो अगर आप खुद ही नहीं कर पाए तो आप खुद के सपनों की कीमत खुद ही डिसाइड कर रहे हो. मेरे सपने बहुत ऊंचे हैं और मुझे वो अचीव करना है. फिर मुझे आप रास्ते मिल जाएंगे, लोग मिलते जाएंगे, कारवां तो जुड़ता जाएगा.
Kudos to you, because fighting cancer and being committed towards your startup is quite an hats off. So give a huge round of applause to that. It's not easy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And I think you used music to heal yourself, because you had mentioned that your music, continuous singing, allowed even your cells to get reactivated and give you a fresh lease of life.
Yes.
Amod, to you.
Sir, I will sum it up with saying that if I could have given advice to me when I was their age, discipline and consistency. And because what happens is we go towards perfectionism, and अगर 10 दिन जिम जाना है, 10 दिन गए पर 11वें दिन नहीं जाते हैं तो we lose it. But 4 दिन जिम जाना, 2 दिन नहीं जाना पर 4 दिन फिर जाना, this is consistency. So don't give up, show up, passion, and keep doing it again and again. Discipline and consistency. I think now these are the 4 pillars for them to follow.
Thank you, Amod, and thank you, everyone. Now, we could take questions from the audience.
Prashant, what's your thought on what's your word?
My thought, I think you have to be passionate. I'll go with passion. My journey again has been very diverse, working professional, entrepreneur, now helping more entrepreneurs. But there is something which kept working is, I got a PhD on leadership models and battlefield strategies. Now when I was learning this, I capsulated all these startup stories into it, saying that the battlefield to boardroom, what can startups do differently? And each one of our conversations has helped me build that thesis. Because the world is going to look at it differently. And as you rightly said, shuru karna zaruri hai, and not giving up. Because I think the 4 pillars came out very well. And that is very essential at that age to start taking action. And thanks to Rahul sir, with his generous heart of supporting student startups. He went one step ahead saying that, why is R.I.D.E not promoting student startups? So tomorrow an entire day is dedicated at the expo, where student startups are getting a chance to go and display whatever they have made. It could be food products, it could be some new innovation, but we are creating this platform for more startups to get launched. And I feel this year we'll at least have 50 startups getting launched from this, and the next year will be 100. So, questions from the students for the panel?
Now, as instructed, now we will have a question and answer sessions. So I request student with the questions kindly walk up to the podium. I can see a student at the right-hand side. Can we please begin with the question and answer session? I request the technical team to please make sure that the mics are working on both sides.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ardra Mohe. I'm a student of first year B.Pharm. My question to you is, understanding the integrity of the sustainability that have become an integral in today's market, how do you ensure that our sustainability efforts are inclusive and equitable, benefiting the stakeholders?
I think it's a very deep and good question, looking at what we all are seeing in today's world, and also companies that are talking about decarbonization, yet using fossil fuels to charge up their systems. So greenwashing is where you're trying to create a clean image, but it's not actually really clean in the entire supply chain. So this requires a paradigm shift. It's a full supply chain challenge that needs to be undertaken. And I think companies like the Kapda Project and other companies that are really doing good work, there's a company by the name Patagonia that is doing some amazing work at a global level. Imagine if we have hundreds of those companies across the globe. I think the integrity of what you've just asked will get resolved.
Thank you. Good question.
Can we have a question from left-hand side of our podium in the audience? Kindly proceed with your question.
Good afternoon, panelists. I'm Janvi Patel from first year BCA. My question is that how do businesses manage the risks associated with the creative ventures while managing the alignment with their own strategies?
I think managing resources and managing your time. Did I get that question right? Can you repeat the question and be a little louder?
How can businesses manage the risks associated with creative ventures while maintaining alignment with their overall strategies?
Creativity and strategy.
I think Gauri is a perfect example of creative and strategy, right? If the founder is creative, they know all their, their field, their work, and where strategy is concerned, I think after a period of time, while I was listening to her story, I just got it that you yourselves realize that where things are missing out, when you want to impart that as a business, and getting in the right people with you, getting in the right, team members with you, wherever you're missing out, can actually make the business as a whole. So, if that answers your question.
I'll just add to it. I'm just picking an industry. If you look at the interior designing or architecture industry, and if you look at your campus as well, it is not only brick and mortar, right? So the interior design and architecture industry, har ghar ka family member ka thought process, and the interior designer works on it, and there's a strategy and there's a business behind it. So you can imagine that every level of creativity goes in all of that, and yet it's a well-established industry. So I think creativity and strategy go hand in hand. The more you do it, the better your company would be.
Lovely.
Now we'll have the last question from the right-hand side in the audience. Kindly proceed with your question.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tarang Patange. I am from second year BBA. My question is, what are the emerging trends in entrepreneurship? I'll repeat the question. My question is, what are the emerging trends in entrepreneurial investments and how are they shaping the future of startups?
So I think there are 4 or 5 emerging trends that are definitely shaping up. I would say that if you look at the defense sector now, it's really opened up for startups. And that is where every stock analyst is looking at companies that are moving in the defense sector, right? So that's definitely one sector that I would look at. Second, I would say, yes, climate tech and sustainability is another sector that people, are really, really investing in. And this ESG and all these things are becoming a norm for all companies. So I think that is an area we should look at. And lastly, I would still say that there's certain businesses that will not go out of vogue. Anything related to land and building, whether it's logistics, whether it's last mile, whether it's warehousing, whether it's storage, whether it's stadiums, whether it's places of worship. I think that will always remain there. So I would not say that that's an emerging trend. But I'm sure something else can be done with that. Nowadays, you see residential housing having a lot of sporting facilities and other musical things going hand in hand, and it's going beyond that now. So I think I would pick up on defense for sure, sustainable, climate tech, definitely, and still looking at some of the earlier businesses, remodeling them.
So I think apart from what Kapil has said, and those are really emerging and great sectors, we would also look at something in logistics because the company is opening up, the policies and with infra is opening up a lot, and like he also said about housing, right? So people will constantly be requiring stuff. So the supply chain is going to be really increasing. Secondly is the scarcity of resources, so water, anything to do with water, whether it's water filtration, whether it is, recycling, that is something which is very important. There's shortage of water in many states even now. So water is going to be like a top end for us. And yeah, I mean, he's covered defense. Defense is really an upcoming since it's become privatized. There's a lot of in space, in the drone tech space, which is emerging sectors, and some great startups we are seeing that. So yeah, if that answers.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Kapil. To close this panel discussion, I would request, having a wonderful artist, it's my privilege to, giving the closing notes and allowing this audience to remember something very memorable on day 4 of this R.I.D.E 2024. Yeah, please.
So audience, are you with me? Now let's sing. I'm not going to tax you, of course. I want you to sing along with me. A very simple, a very popular, a very sweet, melodious Bollywood number. So are you up for the game? So I will sing half line and then you have to repeat. Okay? And this applies to all our panelists also. Lag ja gale, lag ja gale. Please sing. Lag ja gale. Yes, try. Find your own voice. That is right. Lag ja gale, ke phir ye हंसी रात हो न हो, लग जा गले के फिर ये हंसी रात हो न हो, शायद फिर इस जन्म में मुलाकात लग जा गले, हमको मिली है आज ये घड़ियां नसीब से, हमको घड़ियां नसीब से, जी भर के देख लीजिए हमको करीब से, फिर आपके नसीब में ये बात हो शायद फिर इस जन्म में मुलाकात हो न हो, लग जा गले। Thank you. So one thing I want you all to remember is find your own voice, shed your inhibitions about how your voice is and just start singing and let the music flow in your life. Thank you.
Well, what an energizing and melodious performance that was. Can we again have a huge round of applause for ma'am for this refreshing performance?
I kindly request the esteemed panelists to come forward and join us on the stage for a group photograph. Your presence enhances this memorable moment. Following this, I would request Dr. Ishwar Iyer sir to kindly join us for the vote of thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an indeed auspicious moment as we come together to welcome such distinguished personalities among us. Can we have a huge round of applause for these wonderful personalities? Thank you so much, panelists. I would now request Dr. Ishwar Iyer sir to deliver the vote of thanks.
I am the one who is standing between you and lunch. I'll make it in 3 minutes. If I do not have the capability to learn, I cannot ask you to learn. So I should first develop the capability to learn. So in the last 1 hour, 2 hours which I spent here, I learned something from everyone. Let us start with the Swiggy man. I went and sat near him. Both of us come from the same state, Tamil Nadu, so we spoke in Tamil. And in 2 minutes, I could understand what's the difference between Swiggy and Zomato. Though we think that Swiggy has penetrated enough, it has penetrated only 3% of the Indian population. How can Swiggy penetrate more? I could learn in 2 minutes. Then I sat with Rachna, who explained to me how finance should be simplified and not complicated so that younger students understand the nuances of finance. Then I sat with who was the third person? I sat with Bhavana Bhatnagar and understood where funding has to be done, how risk diversification can be done, what is portfolio management and things like that. And then I was asked to move downstage because the panel took over. And madam explained singing in 2 ways. 1, Sariga Padasa, and 2, Lagja Gale. In 2 minutes, I'm not a singer. I have never used a mic and sung on stage. Never. I learned both. As far as Lagja Gale is concerned, I think madam would agree with me. Which is that word in which a lower part goes to upper part? There is a word which comes as mulaqat, in which you swing from the lower pa all the way to the upper pa. Mulaqat ho na ho, lag ja gale ki fir ye hasi raat. I learned in 2 minutes. See, if I, at the age of 59, with no motivation to learn anything at all, there are no more promotions waiting for me. If I can learn in 3 minutes, think about yourself, you're 21-year-olds, you have tons and tons of things to learn in life. With that, a huge thanks to my entire panel for the day, a huge clap.
Thank you so much, sir.
Before we conclude today's proceedings, I would like to request everyone to rise from their seats as we come together to honor our nation. Please stand for national anthem.
I request the technical team to cue the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत जय जय हे
As we draw today's event to a close, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to each one of you. Your energy and enthusiasm have made today's discussion incredibly engaging and insightful.
A special thank you to our distinguished speakers and panelists whose wisdom and experiences have illuminated new pathways and created new ideas. Your contribution have truly been special and enriching to understanding and inspired us all. Ladies and gentlemen, I have few quick announcements that I have to make. I'm very thrilled and excited to announce you that today we will be having the most awaited moment for R.I.D.E 2024, the Comedy Night. And the guest for the Comedy Night we will be having is none other than Praneeth More. I kindly request you all to join us right here at this pandal at 5:30 p.m. for the same. I kindly request the technical team to relay the video.
बहुत सारे शॉर्ट्स देखे